Welcome everyone, you're watching the Iesf qualifiers for Europe. Of course, my name is Kronos, alongside me Zakota to bring you the action for today. It is day number 2 in what is an exciteful long week indeed.
I'm excited to be here with you, Kronos. I cannot wait to see what these teams will do, what strategies they will pull out. First up, we're going to have Slovakia up against Moldova. What do you think about that?
I'm telling you, man, I told you this yesterday. Slovakia looked like a giant kind of like sleeping right at this point, just because of the fact that there's been a lot of investment coming through for the region in terms of Mobile Legends Bang Bang. So they're just growing at a steady pace. So maybe that will just take them to the next level.
I mean, that's left to be seen today. So, it's an unusual thing, right? There's a lot of investors coming through, but still, I didn't know about these players, right? I didn't know a lot about them. I did a bit of research on them. However, still not too many answers.
Yeah, I think not too many answers. You're right. I think we just have to wait and see, like you said.
I mean, draft is about to start soon. I cannot wait to see the strategies they will pull out. Maybe we're going to see again different heroes we haven't seen played. We've seen the other day the Beatrix getting pulled out by Team Portugal. It was really intense. He did a really good job with that hero. A lot of mayhem was caused that game. But even in the first game of the series the other day, we've seen that you cannot let your enemies take advantage of one thing. One bad team fight can lead you to almost losing a game. We've seen that in Team Turkey versus Team Bulgaria. No, Team Belarus, my mistakes.
Yeah, I think Belarus was, you're right, that the one mistake might just change everything. And given the fact that a lot of these teams are not really researched upon so much, they definitely are looking to take the stage. They're definitely looking to upset the giants. And here, I think we have a match of the underdogs, at least to start up, which is Slovakia versus
Moldova. Come on now,
Moldova. There you go. I mean, I know, guys. I know the matchups. I'm just testing if Zakota still remembers, because he's got the screen right in front of him. He's reading everything right in front of him. So it's just like, hey, do you remember what you're talking about, Zakota? I'm just kidding.
I mean, what could be the flagship hero of Moldova? What hero would you associate with Moldova, right? If you were to choose one from this game, which one would it be?
Maybe we get to see, I don't know, maybe we get to see a lot more of Export, probably, with the way that he's been played. It's a comfort hero. Maybe the Iritel's going to pop up as well. Of course, the usual suspects are not going to be on the board, but before we get to that, we want to see who's going up against who tonight. It is, of course, Group B matches today. France, Austria, Moldova, Hungary, Ireland, and Slovakia. The first match we're bringing you tonight will be, of course, Slovakia versus Moldova. And we see a lot of big giants here in this group, right, Zakota?
We have France, we have Austria, we have Hungary. And as you said, we have Slovakia as well. I mean, they're growing giants. But I think this is the first time we're going to see Ireland be playing in ISCF qualifiers.
Yeah, man, I think Ireland is going to be a surprise as well. I'm just waiting to see what they have in store for us, to be honest, because it feels like they're a completely new team. I've never heard of Ireland actually playing Mobile Legends, so that's something that's exciting, to be honest.
I mean, you know what they should say about the Irish? They're very lucky people indeed, Maybe they went the end of a rainbow, got a wish and wished to be playing in ISF European qualifiers. I mean, who knows? Everything could happen, a leprechaun.
Yeah, I mean, who knows indeed. They are lucky. They have the clover on their side. But here, I think it just comes down to how will they fare against some of these giants, especially the Austria, with France having so much for going for them in the good ways. But I think at the end of the day, even though they're giants, hey, David beat Goliath. So I don't see why they can't take them down.
I mean, who knows? The best is going to take the cake, as they say. You know what's a team that I'm really looking forward to today? Hungary.
Hungary might actually be someone that could give us a little bit of a little bit of a treat. Oh my God, Zakota! I know, I see it. I see it. We just missed out, mate. We just literally missed out. The first game, France versus Austria. I wish we could stream that, to be honest. I'll try. I'll try to see if we can get that up, because that definitely is a game to watch, right, Dakota? Unfortunately, we won't be able to see that.
Georgia versus Romania as well. Again, two titans matching up. You know, two good games in the first hour of the stream would be very nice to see. France, Austria, Georgia versus Romania again.
Oof.
4 good teams.
Man, France versus Austria would have been a really nice treat to watch, to be honest. But still, we're gonna watch Moldova, Slovakia. That's gonna be a great game as well. We don't know what we have going forward for those teams at least. And of course, Hungary versus Ireland. I'm just waiting to see if Ireland will actually pull off an upset or not.
It's left to be seen, right? We never know. It's a best of 3. Anything can happen during those 3 games, you know, as they say. Maybe one person gonna get lucky. They're gonna take the first game, second game, the adrenaline is gonna take over and they're gonna push to get a clean sweep. Either that or the other team is gonna get their adrenaline rushing and get a second game to go to a best of 3 series.
Yeah, I think it just might work out. Since it's a best of 3, you're right. It could, anyone's way, to be honest. So it could be up and down. So we're just waiting to see. We're waiting to see how it comes by. But of course, the last final game that's gonna be first is gonna be Wales versus Italy. That's a good match as well. And then later we have France versus Moldova, and we'll be bringing you live Austria versus Hungary and Ireland versus Slovakia, and a couple more games to finish off the night.
And I'm excited to see the second game of the night. I don't know about you, Kronos, but Georgia versus Azerbaijan as well. That's another strong team. Hey, I wish you could see those games as well. You know, Romania versus Wales as well. I didn't see that many Wales players. I didn't even know they had the pro team.
Now, to be honest, neither did I. And I think Georgia have been a staple in the Iesf so far, so they could be a big difference maker here. So against Azerbaijan, hey, again, another surprise for us. We could see later on.
Hey, it's left to be seen. I can't wait to get into game draft number 1. Not about you, Kronos, but I'm sensing a Kalea ban. I don't know about you. I'm feeling a Kalea, you know?
Yeah, I mean, a Kalea ban is definitely something that comes up because it's very overpowered, if you ask me, right? You have the ability to go and pick off. You have a lot of heal that comes through. You have the ability to do that flicker play. So those are going to be a little different in terms of how it's going to be set up. And I don't think these teams want to leave such an overpowered hero open. So I'm just guessing that the Kalea is going to get banned out for sure. Because it's there in the meta. But I think Moldova versus Slovakia are first BO3. Yeah, they could pull up surprises, to be honest.
Who do you have, like, what team do you think is going to take the cake into this best of 3? I mean, personally, I think Moldova. I don't know about you.
Well, yeah, I'm telling you, man, it all comes down to the draft. So yeah, it's going to be a draft that's going to be super important. But of course, looking at the team's rosters, of course, Fatum, Hora, Tren, Espresso, and Mimarmi. Is it Jora or Hora?
Hora, I think.
Hora, I think, yeah, it's Hora. I think this Moldovan team definitely looking to turn heads, and it's gonna be a really, really interesting match for us since we don't really know what to expect, right?
I mean, hey, you never know what's going to happen. That's why this game is so volatile. Anything can happen. Any little bit of a mistake can improve the game for either side of the teams, you know. Maybe a team makes a small mistake, maybe a team makes a big mistake, but still that can be rectified later in the game. That's why it's so nice to watch. But I want to see if it's possible the roster of Team Slovakia. Let's see, it's up right now. We have Zio finding Nemo Baka, Broken, and Bidan. I mean, hey, Broken Katana, who knows, maybe we're gonna see a Benedetta.
Hey man, I'm telling you, man, these are familiar names. That's why I talk about Slovakia. I've seen them take part in multiple tournaments in Europe before. Baka, Finding Nemo. These are a few familiar names to me, along with Broken Katana as well. You're right that Benedetta could pop up, and these are actually familiar names that I've seen before in tournaments around Europe. So maybe this familiarity is probably making me lean towards the side of Slovakia. But then again, Moldova is going to be a different story.
I mean, hey, who knows at this point? We just have to wait to see what is going on in the draft. We're gonna see how the players feel, how the teams feel by watching them in game number 1. I can't wait, Kronos. I don't know. I'm excited. I've been waiting for this all day to start.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited as well. And I think we have about 5 minutes before it starts off. So I think until then, we're probably just waiting to see which teams will be going up front. And I'm telling you, man, Slovakia, Moldova, these are regions that are not so big in terms of Mobile Legends, but the growth is coming through. And of course, Iesf providing them the stage to take, to showcase their skills to the world. And I think no better place than this.
And it's nice to see some young people getting to prove their worth, proving their talents on an international stage, right? They have the possibility to go international. So who knows? Maybe they're going to catch the eye of a sponsor, get a bit of help from other people as well. But as I said on the last stream, make sure you hype the people from your country up in the chat. Wish them good luck, wish them a good game. Maybe hit them up in DMs, tell them, hey, I wish you guys a good game. I wish you guys good luck. Hype them up, right? That's going to matter a lot for them. This adrenaline, this help. I did the same thing with my own countrymen.
Yeah, I agree. I think Zakota, you got to realize, guys, he's here on the desk because he couldn't make it into the team. That's why you had to hype them up. But of course, you got to hype your countrymen in the chat. Make sure you show your support at the same time, especially if you're from Slovakia or Moldova. Gather your troops. Show the world that, hey, even we have Mobile Legends and not just the Southeast Asian countries. And you never know, man. I'm telling you, you never know. One of these countries might just take the Iesf globally as well.
Who knows what might be happening? Maybe we're going to have new champions coming from Europe. We never know, right? That's why it's so nice to see this team, because we're going to improve exponentially until the actual finals come up, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that will be something that we have to see later down the road, right? But for now, of course, we have 2 matches to bring you today. The first one gonna be starting up soon, which is Moldova versus Slovakia. And I'm telling you, man, I've seen these names before. The Broken Katana, the Baka, the Finding Nemo. These are familiar names, and I think they're probably gonna take it just because the experience that they have playing professionally or semi-professionally in a tournament setting. And it's going to be important if they are able to scrim or just a bunch of people that just came in together to play. Moldova might just be one of those countries.
Right, who knows? At this point, we just have to wait and see what's going to happen. But let's say, before the game, which team do you think is going to take the cake? Before any of the draft, any of these things, who do you think is going to take the cake? Personally, I think Moldova. What about you?
I told you, man, Slovakia. I've seen these names before, and these are familiar names, but at the same time, it comes down to the draft. But if you're asking going in blindly, since I've heard of these names before, I've seen these names before, I'm definitely looking forward to Slovakia. And maybe this time we're against each other when it comes to our picks,
And who knows? Let's see. The best may take the cake. Let's have a little wager on to see who's going to win this. I have my
So what do you want to wager then?
What could we wager on us? What do you think?
Well, I don't know. We could wager on maybe. Nah, it's okay. I'm not thinking about wagering anything at this point.
It's too late in the day. It's too hot to think,
Probably, eh? Probably. So, but I think at this point, it might just be. It might just come down to the draft, man. Looking at the fact that there are different heroes that are going up and down, especially with the meta being a little more Baxia oriented. And yesterday, from what we saw, Assassin's still in the picture. We like the Moskov, of course, right? Apart from the Moskov, the Granger is still great. So it's 50-50 in my opinion.
It depends also on comfort picks. It's not about the meta. The comfort picks is gonna help the players, feel more safe. If I was in their place, I'd go for maybe a comfort pick, maybe something, to help me relax in the first game, get a feel for the team, the enemy team as well, Let's say I was playing jungle, right? First game, maybe I'd go Hayabusa just to, get the comfort pick, see how aggressive the enemies are, etc, etc. Picking out for the draft, let's say you go a Kimi first pick, right? That's a very volatile pick. It can go in 2 roles, so you have to draft carefully. You have to think about it a bit more. Same with Abashi, as you said. It's a volatile hero, 3 roles. Roam, XP, and jungle as well. So it could happen. Everything could happen. That's why I like this game so much. It's so volatile. Predator as well. You can flex me into the XP as well. Maybe even in the roam if you're brave enough. But that's left to be seen today, right?
Yeah, exactly. It comes down to the flexibility to see where it will go through, which slot these heroes are going to be slot, which role these heroes are going to be slotted in, because that's going to be super important when it comes to the flexibility of the draft. And we know about the draft is like 70-80% of the game, right? So if you ask me, that will slightly be the big difference maker.
As I said, I'd pick a bit more of a comfort pick other than the meta. You can follow the meta, it's good, right? It gives you an idea of what to pick, what to draft. Comfortability over priority. Come on now, you have to do it. You have to say it. You'd pick a 1-1, right? If you were in their place, you'd pick a 1-1 instead of a Moscow, maybe.
I mean, yes, the comfort is super important indeed, and I would definitely probably pick a 1-1 if I'm super comfortable. But then again, you need to be in a position where at least if it's a 50-50, right, then you trust your gut and go with it. But if it's a 0 to 100, would you really try picking up a 1-1 at that position, right? If you're going against an Iritel, there's a Fanny on the other side. Still, maybe you probably will go with your gut, but it goes to show how comfortable they are on these comfort heroes. If they're one of those one tricks, that'll be a big difference maker. But if they're not, and they're just relying on the fact that they know they played about 400-500 games with it, I mean, even 400-500 games is great, but if it's something that they haven't mastered yet, and the other side just have much better micro, it'll just be a different story. Because I think in this, especially in this tournament, you're really relying on your micros.
I mean, I agree with you a lot, but I think what matters most, it's a 5v5, right? So nothing that you do should be made alone. There has to be a team decision made, a game plan before, so you have to think of these players, hey, we thought of this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna go with this game plan, we're gonna try to go for this draft if possible. No, we're gonna try to, divert a bit from it. Let's say they try to prioritize a jungle. What would be a good first pick for, let's say, Team Moldova, if they were to prioritize a jungle? Would they go for flexibility or a direct lockdown of a jungler?
Yeah, I think maybe. I'm not really sure. Just wait and see, Zakoto. We're speculating so much. We just gotta wait.
I mean, I'm too excited, Chronos. I don't know about you. I'm too excited that I have to start thinking about it already.
Yeah, just like I'm thinking what's gonna go on. I'm really trying to figure out myself as well. Like, I think Slovakia are more prone to playing, if I'm not wrong, Finding Nemo is a gold laner, I think. So probably gonna end up playing certain heroes like Iritel, that's very famous. Again, the Moskov is gonna be there. Those are certain heroes that I am definitely looking to see. I don't think the Harris is gonna fall through, but if it does, yeah, I don't think it's gonna be the most. I think the team that gets the most overpowered heroes will probably come up with a victory.
I mean, I'd like to see a Nathan. I mean, it's such a great hero, has so much mobility. And it's so volatile as well. You can flex into the jungle if you're brave enough. Even in the mid lane, we've seen that Kimi going to the mid, She has that CC potency as well, but so does Nathan, if you think about it. Nathan's ultimate can be a double CC, a double pullback, So it can work, but not 100% of the time. It just has to be that great pocket pick, like the Veil, right? Veil is a great pocket pick. It can work in multiple draft composition, maybe with Katakacha, maybe against the Fanny because of that annoying knockup. The Gathering Storm as well, it does a ton of damage and it's very good for teamfights. It's very fast, very reliable. But still, I mean, that's left to be seen, as you said, right? We're just waiting to go into game number 1's draft. But I'm excited. It's like a dopamine rush, right, Kronos?
I mean, hey, I'm to be honest, I'm just looking at the stats that's there. I'm trying to find out what's going on. I'm trying to find out what the meta is. I'm trying to search up the players that are playing as well, because like I said, I've seen them before. I'm just trying to find out where, when, how, who, and all that good stuff, right? So just making sure I've got the data right, and also at the same time, I mean, Zakota, I'm doing your job. You're the analyst over here, but
come on, it's a team effort here, Kronos.
I know it's a team effort, but hey, that's what Romania told you, right? With the intellect for the team. I'm just kidding.
Nah, I gave up my friend. Come on now. If I was there, it would have been too easy. I would have already won. No challenge whatsoever. Bring me in. I'd win.
There you go, folks. Dakota says he's gonna beat anyone and everyone at the same time. Yup, see? I know I've heard of these names before. Broken Katana is their mid laner that used to play for 4-season Reign, right? And Baka
right.
Baka is also a mid laner, so I'm not sure how they're gonna work it out. And I think we're waiting for what's his name again? Finding Nemo. I'm telling you, I've seen this name. Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Yeah, Finding Nemo is the gold laner. I said it. Finding Nemo is the gold laner. He used to play for Uvu with the Ripper 12 and Kirito. So I think this is getting the best of the best together for that particular country. Yeah, man, this might be a big difference maker.
Kronos. I mean, hey,
yeah,
you're setting a big standard for this player. No, you're setting a high bar. Maybe you're gonna be, you know, how would you call it? They're gonna be rushing under pressure if you're hyping up. You know, the casters talk about you all the time. You know, it's a bit of a pressurous thing. But still, I want to see a unique hero that represents each country, right? Maybe for Turkey is the high-paced assassin, as we said, the TNZ with the Fanny, with the Link. As intense games, right? We've seen as well Rosa with that amazing Farsa gameplay, right? And come on. Fushi as well with the Valentina, amazing gameplay yet again. Hey, you cannot not hype them up. It's really good. It's really good gameplay. You learn a lot from them, right? Rosa flickering back instead of to the right. You know, you don't expect that a lot. You don't see it very often in this type of pro play.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's something that we need to look at in terms of having the highest level of comfort, highest level of mechanical skill that comes into the fray. Like you mentioned, TNZ is going to go for something like a Ling, a lot of assassin heavy meta. So I think this is definitely something that they need to look out for, especially given the fact that it's quite interesting when it comes to having picked the comfort heroes against like, say for example, I think comfort heroes against something that would be really meta, but they're not really sure of playing.
I mean, I agree with you. Like the Barats, I find it as the comforting pick. You know, it's a flexible pick as well, but you don't see it very often anymore, right? The hitbox is just too big. If you get the Novaria on the enemy team and a Selena, you're just done. Done over. Stun 24/7, zero time to think. And the ultimate isn't so useful. You know, that Adon as well you have to expend the flicker usually for it to catch someone off guard. It's a good hero, don't take me wrong. It's a really nice hero. It has a good hit. But compared to the XP laners you have right now in the meta, I don't think it, you know, falls too close to them.
Yeah, I think. Hey, well, speaking of the meta, Dakota, I think we're getting into the draft soon.
Are we seeing the Steamy getting banned? First ban, you know, a flexible hero, a really good ban. I think we're gonna see a Kalea, maybe a jungler ban in the first two bans from Team Moldova. Maybe a Fanny. A cheap and a Fanny, maybe? Let's see. I'm smelling that Fanny.
Yeah, I think this is something that we'll have to probably look at in terms of how it's gonna go through the draft. The Fanny's probably gonna get banned out. The Hayabusa, the Lings, the Joys. I'm not sure about the Ling, but the Joy definitely. Harith again. The Granger's an overpowered pick. A lot to work with. The Badang's still great. Also, right, Dakota?
That's correct. I'd like to see maybe a bit more Gatachas. Luoi, second ban. I mean, hey. That's again a very good ban. You know, if they ban the Chief, might as well ban the Loi. That diversion teleportation is just really devastating, right? You can go into bad positions for the enemies. Juk Shin as well. A hero made for team fights, the proper team fight hero. It's not something you do a lot of damage with. It's something you know your enemies with, right? With a tank jungler, fighter jungler, something to slow down those pesky, annoying, dashing heroes, right?
I think it's just about mobility in and around the map. So far, if you take a look at it, there are 3 heroes that could be flexed into the mid lane just taken out, right? Our mid laners, Kimi, Luyi, Dushin. So I think they're respecting the fact that Slovakia have really good mid laners in their team, at least, and have a good amount of practice put in. But also at the same time, they don't want to give away overpowered heroes to the side of Moldova, from Slovakia at least. And that's why they take out the Lucas.
I mean, hey, they're taking out the Lucas. There's no need to ban maybe the Valentina. Maybe they're looking to go for a Triple P or something along the lines. We know it's a devastating ultimate. That's not good to be copied, right? They're not going to expect. But I feel like either they have to ban a marksman right here or a jungler. You know, Soy is left open, Joy is left open, Fan is left open, Ling is left open. Alea also, I mean, just banned recently, but it was left open for a while, you know. There's so many great picks right here, but still, you know, you don't. It's the pressure of the first pick, right?
There you
goes
go.
the Matilda.
Pressure of the first pick just left open. They leave the Matilda open, and that means Slovakia can play fighters, tanks, assassins, whatever they want. Full dive composition, kiting composition. It works out. Matilda just fits the bill. You can play with the Alpha. You can play with the Fredrin. You can play with the Boxia. So I'm not really sure if Moldova have kind of put themselves in this position, and they have to dig themselves out here. Maybe take the Herod. Maybe let the Herod go, pop up the Esmeralda. That helps as well. Maybe even take the Boxia at this point, right?
Maybe take a Fredrin Masha combination to just shut down their possibilities, right? Masha XP, a Fredrin jungle, you know, take that hit off the mid lane.
Too early though, right? Too early. But I like this. I like the Joy Hilda. That's a good combination. Coming through, you have a little bit of early aggression. You have the electrifying beats to go in and out. So I feel like this is definitely something that that would give us a lot of room to work with, especially if you're Moldova. For Slovakia now, I think just lock in the Fredrin, man. Just lock in the Fredrin, call it a day, and you're gonna have a great time.
I mean, they're going for the Badang, but Team Moldova, I think, is going for a more invade-heavy team composition like we've seen from Team Turkey. We're gonna see Hayabusa with Matilda and a Badang. I mean, hey, what if they flex the Matilda into the mid position and the Badang into the roam and they pick another XP laner?
Could be. That's something. That's something that could work out indeed. I think that's gonna be something that we look out for. But the Moskov being picked again to prevent the counter coming through for the Joy later on and prevent an extra bit of ban. Also give them a good power spike in terms of the goal lane. And now I think they should look at choking down some goal laners. Take out the Herod, take out the Granger, take out the Irithel.
I mean, I don't necessarily, but they need to ban out mid lanes as well for Slovakia. They need to ban something else. Even if they flex the Matilda, they need something to do a bit more magical damage. Maybe they need to ban the Harriet, as you said. He has that potency of magic damage. Even the Nathan would work really well for Team Slovakia.
I don't think the Nathan is that good currently in the meta, right? Yes, he's good. He got a buff and stuff like that, but I think it's just going to take a little bit more time. So I don't think Nathan's going to be great. The Folius is a great ban, though. Good shout, just because you're predicting this Hilda to go in the roam position, which, again, against the Matilda, it's nothing like it's going to be bad, especially you get to face check bushes. That's going to be important. They take out the Herod, indeed. And on the other side, maybe take out... Yeah, I was going to say, Gatotkacha's got to go here at this point, right?
If they're predicting the Hilda to go into the roam position, I mean, they two great bans right there, but they left out the Hylos.
Maybe they pick up the Hylos for themselves now. Moldova just pick up the Hylos.
I mean, maybe Slovakia goes for the Hylos as well, you know? Who knows? Land of possibilities, the land of dawn.
Nah, man, I think the Slovakia definitely going to put this Matilda in the wrong position. Maybe leave that Hylos open at this point and then slot in your mid laner. But or you pick up the Hylos and leave that mid laner until the end just to see what Slovakia brought to the table.
If the enemy team, if Moldova picks the Hylos, they'd have to go a Trinity jungler, but they're going out for the Kufra.
Oh,
they're
wow.
declaring that the Hilda is going to the XP position. Hey, that's a great pick. Something for the Hayabusa, something for the Badang as well.
Yeah, I think it's complete denial, right? Just making sure the dashes don't work out. Again, it's not just denying the Badang or the Hayabusa, but also making sure that the guiding win is kind of questionable at this point with the big bouncing ball. So, I think the Vexana comes through. I like the Vexana, but then very susceptible to taking a lot of damage from the Joy. But I think to round it off, they need a marksman that can go toe-to-toe against the Moskov. I can only think of the Irithel here. Irithel with the Purify.
I think they need a Trinity jungler, as I said, a jungler, a goal laner, something that does a lot of damage, something as this Demon Hunter sword, you know, for that extra
it's like a
damage
carry
on the tanks. A carry, yeah. Carry would be really great here.
First rule around here.
There is the carry.
Well, man, they go for the carry indeed. That's why you're the analyst, Dakota. You got it right this time. I mean, maybe Romania give you a slot even after listening to you. You know, you never know.
Maybe I'm gonna be the coach next season. Who knows? Let's see.
Oh, that could be a possibility, dude.
I mean, That would be a good mate here, right? A Novaria for the Moscow. A Faramis. I mean, it's a bit of an odd pick considering you're matched up against a Vexana, we know, with a Deadly's Grasp, with that Death Guard, that's a lot of damage. You can burst down your Netherrealm really quick. But
I think it's a good full dive, right? Full dive, Moldova.
That's right, right. And it's something to block out the Hayabusa as well, so Ogi Shadowkill is going to be kind of useless on the Faramis.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be something that's good to watch in terms of what's going on. And I think Faramis is a really good shout here. Just gives extra bit of sustain to the Joy. Now the Hilda's a lot more tanky, and especially that Moscow having that second lifeline is going to be super important.
I mean, even I would have picked something a bit more different on the mid position. Maybe I would have picked Valentina to take that, guiding wind to take people with her, There's so many possibilities, right? Even the Badang's ultimate, that fist cracking and take it enough CC immunity, right? There's so many possibilities that could have happened there, but even so, the Farm is still a great pick. But saying that, we're straight into game number 1. Slovakia versus Moldova, finding Nemo on the jungling position. Kronos, you were wrong.
Wow. Hey man, I think as one of the best players, he said, let me go rock the jungle, and then we'll see I can carry the game from there on out, because Hayabusa in his hand is definitely going to make and turn heads in this game. Given the fact that they do have Bidnak in the gold lane, Shanko in the roam position, and Baka still rocks that mid lane.
We're going to see both junglers going for a gold lane rotation. Joy is going to get a bit of a surprise coming from the Badang. The Badang is going towards the mid lane. No, bit of a fight in the mid lane. A forced Flicker already.
Yeah, I think already forcing out a Flicker. That's really great. That's not going to be there. And also from Hora, they take away the Purify. So that is another expensive resource here. Charging out Titan's Revenge. Nobody home yet, but finding Nemo, able to steal out a creep coming through from the other side. So that's good news. Not hitting that level 4. Should be getting there right now. And there's the Ogi Shadow kill. Quite easy to pick up that one. Flicker baited out and still able to get first blood. But here comes the Joy as he goes for the electrifying beats onto her Shanko. No Flicker means that's going to be taken down quite easily. Finding Nemo's next on the chop and block as he gets himself a double, while Raiden should be next to follow. Espresso trying to go in, but the safety under the tier 1 turret in the mid lane for Slovakia make sure they don't lose out a lot more.
2 kills going to Trembolone. I mean, that's a really good trade-off. A roam lost, a jungler lost in the first few minutes of the game is really punishing for Team Slovakia, right? Even so, we've seen both of the XP laners rotating towards the mid lane quite well, but still, it was not enough. The Hayabusa maybe has to take down the Hilda before the turtle spawns in. Seeing Raiden getting poked out a bit, the Joy trying to go down on the Vexana under the tower.
Oh, here, electrifying beats onto her Shanko. He has to get the guiding wind out of there. And I think here you can see Moldova. I understand why you said this, Dakota, because Moldova are moving really well in and around the map. The movement's very fluid. There's no possible way for them to get anything as Baka gets taken down to the Ghostbusters coming through from Hora. And here, they'll be able to pick up that turtle as well. So, very clean game so far from Moldova. I think you were just hiding this information from me, weren't you, Dakota? Because Raiden here is going to be next on the chop and block. As you can see, electrifying beats. Able to pick up that kill quite easily.
Joy already being on a killing spree is a huge lead, but even so, the Moscow missed his Spear of Destruction, missed out on a free kill. But still, it's early in the game, it's not that big of a goal, it's only 1.8 thousand gold, so it's, it doesn't matter, it's a few kills, right? It's a few jungle creeps. But even so, the Hilda is doing a really good job of zoning out Raiden, right? He's cutting the waves, he's rotating towards the mid lane, he's forcing the flicker of the Vexana almost all of the time. Same with Matilda, right? But on the bottom, we're gonna see a bit of an action. Hayabusa.
Oh, you can see it. Oh my god! I thought it was gonna be a little. It was a little iffy at that point, wasn't it? The Hayabusa. He's looking for the pick-off angle on towards Fatum, but here he gets the SOD, misses out. Quad Shadow goes in, but looking at the collapse down to the bot side as they get one kill and they get another. Shanko as well as Bitnak get taken out, but there's the Eternal Guardian. But to no avail as Fatum gets himself another one, and that's gonna be finding Nemo. Seems like he needs to look harder to find him.
And Fatum just shish kebab of Team Slovakia's members. I mean, that was a really great stun. Expresso as well. 5 members being in the bot lane is really good, right? You have a 5-man rotation versus 3 people. You're seeing the Kufra charging up his jump, but still, just as a precaution, right? To see if maybe they're gonna dive on jurisdiction. And already a tower lost in the bot lane, a turtle advantage, and 4,000 gold. That's a lot. Come on. The first few minutes of the game, that's still a lot.
Definitely is a lot, if you ask me. Given the fact that Slovakia here, oh, they get caught out. There's the Tyrant Rage and not able to move whatsoever. Shanko tried to go with the guy and going to get taken out. Baka's the next one to follow. Moldova, very aggressive. And looks like they might just be able to take this game in less than 5 minutes also. Getting so much of an advantage on the bot side. You can see Trent Balone goes through the electrifying beats, forces out the Yogi Shadow kill. And there's the SOD connecting. And finally, Nemo didn't even get the orange buff.
Raiden used his flicker. Grasp, pull. Okay, Moscow, come on now. One more hit.
Oh, no, this is going to go.
No.
Oh, wait. Hora didn't have the Shadow Stampede. Neither did he have the Ghostbusters as well. And I think not able to get a kill, but right now, probably the Rock in a hard place. Eternal Guardian circling you comes through as well as he uses the Netherrealm to survive and buys more time. But there it is. They finding Nemo in the process. Espresso's don't want to get the kill, making sure he wakes him up. My goodness, this Hayabusa's not having a good game. So far, Dakota, this entire tournament, Hayabusas have not been having a good game.
Yeah, permanently getting invaded again. Kufra.
Nah, man. Not looking good for them. Baka gets taken out. Although Mimarmi did fall down. And now the mid lane's under siege as well. Moldova get that tier 1 in the mid lane.
Tier 5 burned up by Fatum. A lot of that. Again, shish kebab.
Oh, SOD! He skewered him right there. Speaking about a shish kebab, man, finding Nemo. Dude got skewered with that SOD.
We have to give respect to the Moscow players. The only time we've seen Moscow, they played extremely well, right? Top lane still hasn't been pushed yet for neither of the teams. But we've seen Moscow slowly going there. They almost got a kill on Raiden, if I'm not mistaken. Come on now, this is a pure annihilation match. 2 turtles for the side of Moldova, Raiden under a turret.
Oh no. Yeah, he goes for that fist break, fist crack combo, tries to get something down. Oh, he catches Espresso there, but still, he'll get taken down. Espresso's quite tanky as they get the TR on the top side as well. Trend Balone, man, he just got himself that Holy Crystal, and now he's going to start. If he wasn't hurting so far, he definitely is going to start hurting now.
A lot of damage coming on from both sides, but still not enough. They need to find that right pacing. They need to go for a team, but they need to link up. They need to gather, fight for an objective, fight for something. They're fighting without reason for now. Vexana with a deadly grasp, getting good stun, but none to follow up, right? She's waiting for the Badang to show up to protect her, maybe, because the Matilda, right, it's a support. Not as tanky, not as much of a bruiser as Badang is, or the Hilda, for example.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that fact, but even though Espresso is supposed to be so tanky on a Hilda, the amount of damage that Espresso is doing, 406 on a Hilda, those stacks are going to start hurting, man. And especially given the fact that I know he's building tank, he has only the Concussive Blast, maybe even a Fury Hammer for extra bit of damage, but oh my god. Slovakia not in a good position. Tyrant's Rage being charged up. Nobody home yet, not being used. Mimarmi just waiting for the right opportunity.
You have to think about it, right? They're waiting for the enemy team to make a mistake. Casualty playing is a possibility, but they're gathered up. They're waiting just for one player to be out of position. Raiden going on Espresso. Fist crack. Not much you can do, right? You just have to farm, you have to pick up your phase, you have to defend. They're just trying to look for a small opening.
Oh my god, Espresso, man, just went for it, but SOD did connect, able to get 1 kill, and finding Nebo trying to find his way out. But guess what? He walks straight into the Ghostbusters, gets taken down, and now Slovakia have been starved out of farm so much that they're behind 10k.
One fight change the entire face of the game. Honestly, one fight by Team Slovakia would change now. Even so, we're gonna see a death pool coming in from Jurisdiction, but even so, Matilda with the guiding winds
has to flicker out. Chanko gets caught out. You can see electrifying beaches there, but the Netherrealm saved them after the use of the Eternal Guardian. Espresso, man, this guy needs to wake people up because he's doing that. Raiden gets taken down, and now they're looking for more. Not able to find anything, as the rest of Slovakia will have to back out, respecting the damage that Moldova are putting out.
Hayabusa still has the Ugi Shadow kill, but I don't think it's enough to take anyone down, right? They don't have Badger, they don't have the penetration needed to take down maybe the Moscow. That's his only lone target he can take. Finding
Nah,
Nemo
man, the
using
only
it.
thing he can take down is minions at this point. Because the way he's going through, you see Espresso
Espresso
diving
deep.
in deep. Oh, trying to get out. Will he make it? He actually did. No, he did not. The Wisps followed from the Matilda. Shanko got that kill. And I'll be honest, that if anything, that's only good news for Moldova. Because the kill didn't go to the hands of either Finding Nemo or Bidnak or even Baka at that point.
It went to Yonk, right? I mean, hey, the turtle, the Lord is up, actually, not the turtle. It's a really big looking turtle. Even so, it's a 4-level difference between the junglers, right? Even he tries to contest, maybe there's a smaller chance for him to get it, right? They have map control, but even so, Baka falls down at hand of Fatum, unstoppable. He's 5-0-5, and he's gonna take the turret down, forcing him to maybe go for a recall. I mean, not much you can do. You cannot let a Moscow take advantage of the more open map.
Yeah, I think here they go, they get themselves the Lord. Baka is already down and out, but here Shanko just trying to make sure the Holy Shields don't get popped out. I mean, Finding Nemo, man, what were you doing there? You're not supposed to be looking for Nemo in the jungle.
Maybe stick to gold lane, Finding Nemo, maybe find your own pace there. We're kidding, of course, but even so, it's pure decimation, right? 3 deaths from the team of Moldova concluded 20 of Team Slovakia. I mean, it's decimation, right? But still, this is game number 1. There's so many chances for us to see what could happen in game number 2. Maybe they're getting used to the environment, right? The teams.
Oh, Tyrant's Revenge charged up. Mimarmi cancels it out. Doesn't want to commit yet. The Lord is still marching down the mid lane. And they're trying to sync all 3 waves at the same time. So the way it's going feels like, hey, Finding Nemo, I'm not sure what he's doing there. Not in the best of positions. Mimarmi charging up the Tyrant's Revenge, cancels it out. Looks at the Lord, gonna charge down the mid lane. Holy Shield gets popped out. Lord taken out below half HP, and I think this is the clear that they're looking for. But there's the flicker play, catches 3. No one will connect, but they're able to dish out the damage as they take down Shanko. Again, not ever a great thing. They get Finding Nemo as well. As the electrifying beats from Trent Bologna is able to pick that up, and now they're looking to march down the mid side. And the top side as well. Radiance to follow. A monster kill in the hands of Fatum. The mid lane inhibitor will fall down. Another set of waves to follow, and I think the base crystal left exposed. The Moldova will be able to pick up this game quite easily in a dominating fashion indeed.
That was a slaughter, complete slaughter. I think it was a almost 20,000 goal lead to Team Moldova. I mean, that's a lot, right? They got all 3 objectives, they got basically out of the turrets. I don't think Team Slovakia got 1 turret that entire game, right, Kronos?
Yeah, man. I think they got only 1 turret, if I'm not wrong. Just 1. Ever so slightly.
Lane, right?
Actually, no, they didn't. I don't think they even got 1. With the way it's going, I think they got 1. I'm not even sure at this point because the game was so one-sided. Moldova, whoo. I'm not sure if they're that good or Slovakia is that weak, man, at this point.
I mean, hey, let's see. Game number 2. Soon about Sabator is gonna go in the breakdown of the match, right, Kronos? I'm waiting to see the goal lead, the goal advantage, the tower push, the tower damage, etc. That's the most interesting for me to see, right? As an analyst, I have to do it, but first we're gonna see the highlights. We're gonna see Finding Nemo get that early game kill, but even so, getting punished by Trent Balloon after he used that Ugi Shadow kill, had no answer for him.
Yeah, I think definitely have no answer at this point with the way they're going through. Feels like he got the most expensive item of the game. At like, what, 5 minutes?
5 minutes in, he got Holy Crystal.
Man, I don't know. It's not looking good, man, if you're Slovakia at this point, because Moldova are just running away with it. So it just feels like there are just levels to this game, man. At this point, there are levels to this game, different. It just showcase of what it is that's going on in terms of who's good and who's not. Moldova, Slovakia, yeah. Although there are countries that we don't see a lot of, I feel like definitely. Moldova pulled up.
So they did, but no, look at those items. First item was Starlium side, Holy Crystal, followed up by Bloodring, and I think he was building up the Wishing Lantern, right? The Joy?
Yeah, I feel like the Wishing Lantern. For what? For the Joy building too?
Exactly. Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Feels like he was building for another Holy Crystal at this point.
That would have been a bit of a...
To be honest,
still.
No, I mean, you don't need the passive at that point, right? You have the Blood Wings to sustain. You have the Starlium side for a cooldown. I think he was just probably going for another Holy Crystal. I don't think that's the path to build a Wishing Lantern, to be honest.
I mean, I don't remember, but even so, Moscow had turned to build basically fully built, gold obtained. Compared to Team Slovakia, it's a 5,000 difference. That's devastating, right? Tower damage 1,000 compared to 42,293. And they did get one turret kernel, so you were right about that. But they couldn't farm anything. They had no advantage, no turtles, no lords, no split push whatsoever. Man. I mean, Trombo alone, 6 kills. I think the Moscow as well had 6 kills, so they were at an even pace, but even so, he got that MVP, he got that carry tag. But what do you think Slovakia could have done differently? What heroes do you think would have been better?
I'm telling you, man, I don't think it's the heroes, it's just the execution. It was just literally the execution. The way that Moldova pulled up in the first minute, playing as aggressive as they can, I think they just won because of that. And also, another point is just the fact that aggression is rewarded in this meta so well. If you're aggressive, you're able to get the advantage. You're able to put the first foot forward, right? And that's going to be the most important thing. But if you're not able to take the aggressive route, you need to know how to play passive and bounce back. And given the fact that these teams don't have the facilities to understand, they don't have, they don't have the resources to learn from that, from coaches, analysts. I feel that probably is their downfall. I think every team that plays aggressive will have their fruits rewarded.
I agree with you. It just takes a little snowflake to start an avalanche. And that's what we've seen, right? We've seen an avalanche just take down Slovakia. It was just brutal, right? There's no ball effect in pure perspective. As soon as Hayabusa, used his Ugi Shadow kill, he gave way to Joy to start that effect, that snowball effect. Kept going. He could kept punishing him, right? They knew the tags of the ultimate, they knew the cooldowns. He just typed it in chat, probably, hey, Hayabusa used out 50 seconds, we can keep forcing fights. Nothing he could have done. You can use your Shadow, yes, you can use your daggers, maybe get a pick off, but still, that's not enough. Joy already had 2 kills, and both sides of the rumors, they fell. Jungler fell in the first few minutes. It's that's the biggest part. You don't have to die on jungle. That's the most important thing. If you die for a good trade, let's say you get 3 kills, that's worth it. But if you die, you get 1 kill, not worth it.
True. And I think, we'll find out what's going to happen in game number 2, at least after we come back after a short break, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. Stay glued to your seats. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching the World Esports Iesf Europe Qualifiers, of course, on air with Kronos, myself, and Zakota, my trusty partner, for the cast for the games that are to follow. Match number 1, of course, that we saw, Moldova versus Slovakia, and Moldova ran with game number 1 in an aggressive fashion, dominating indeed. And I think game number 2, to be honest, Dakota, I'll give you that one. Looks like it's going to be the same story.
Who knows? It's left to be seen. I'm excited to see what Slovakia's strategy is going to be into game number 2. They have a possibility to win, right? They did have decent macro, but the oomph wasn't there. There wasn't a push behind them, right? They were playing a bit too scared. Compared to Moldova, they were going with the flow. They were taking advantage of the snowball effect, right? We all know what that is, and that's the most important thing. You have to start somewhere and end up somewhere. You have to think about it. That's the game plan, right? You say, hey, before we go turtle, we go opposite on left mid bush, we check, we have more positioning, waiting for the XP maybe to cross over, we kill him, we take the turtle, right? There is so many possibilities in an ML game that's what makes it amazing, right? You cannot play every game the same and expect to win, because maybe the enemy is going to pull up with a different strategy, maybe they're going to go for an invade, maybe they're going to go for a different rotation on XP. It's all in the numbers. You have to think about, hey, maybe are they going to do this, are they going to do this? You have to split up, you have to pack up, you have to think about when to do it, how to do it.
Yeah, I think it probably just going to come down to how it's going to happen. You're right. And if not, man, I hope they find the right spot. I hope they find the right way to get things going as well. Otherwise, this is going to be a difficult story, a difficult mountain to climb for the side of Slovakia. Moldova, man, they're running and gunning. They're running and gunning. And you know what? I don't want us to run and gun anymore. I just want to go and take a look at the game.
You're like a wizard. You're telling us all about what happened. We're going to see Team Moldova banning out the chip. Kalea and Jukshin yet again. Slovakia, Lucas, Matilda, and the Kimi. Hey, really good bounce from either of the sides. I'm expecting to see a backshot first pick from Team Moldova. I feel they can pull it off on their own positioning.
Yeah, I agree. I think given the fact that they could probably go for the backshot. The Matilda, of course, taken out. The Kalea is taken out as well. This time Moldova on the blue side. Maybe the Phobius is a great pick that's open.
The Joy
Trent
again.
Balone says, give me the Joy, and I'm going to show you what I can do again.
Hey, we've seen what happened in game number 1 is a complete slaughter. 2 kills in the first 2 minutes of the game. Got that Kacha, and let's say they pick maybe a mid laner right now, maybe a low E.
But yeah, Louis is a great shout, to be honest. I think that would be good. But the Harriet is left open. Granger's left open. I don't like the Granger against the Joy, just because of the fact that the Joy is quite mobile. So not really sure if Granger's the right pick. But hey, Granger is something, so it works out.
Again, the Moscow, they're just giving up them picks like their candies on Halloween. They're maybe going to go for a replay draft on game number 1, but this time Slovakia is gonna, take it with a grain of salt. They picked them, got Kacha, expecting the Moscow. You get that Blade Armory, you get that Thunderbolt, you're tanky, you have that Anti-Press as well. And again, the Hilda. So it's basically a clone draft, right?
I wouldn't say exactly a clone draft, but similar ideas. Right, idea is quite similar, and any team that has the Gatotkacha and the Hylos, man, I'm always rooting for that team because they have so much to play around. They have a lot of front to back composition as well. And I think here, at least they've kind of not neutralized the Joy completely, but to a certain extent. Although they need to follow it up with some really good jungle picks, and I'm looking at maybe Fredrin being one of them, but Fredrin against the Moskov, I don't know.
I don't think they need another. They need an assassin jungler here. Afan is left open on the table. Ling, Boost as well. They have the Moscow. They have the Moscow. They have the Hylos. They got to catch 2 tank heroes to encounter the Moscow pretty heavily, right? Hylos' passive slows down basically as they're banning out the Faramis. They're not letting them go for the clone draft. But even so, as soon as Moscow gets his Trinity build going, that's already punishing enough for both of the tanks. They need to get that Blade Armor up as soon as possible. The Granger, I don't think is going to have enough time to answer. The Joy is there, the Hilda's there, something to protect the Moscow at all times. They need to focus, I think, more on the mid lane and the jungle bans from either sides.
Faramis, Hayabusa. Man, they don't really care about the Fanny. The Fanny's not going to come up from Slovakia because the Moscow is going to decimate the Fanny for sure, the way Fatum was playing it. And again, Zakota, it's similar to game one's draft, the first half. Espresso on the Hilda, Fatum on that Moskov, Trembolone on the Joy. And those were the three picks that kind of really got them the win, right? So at this point, yes, they take out the Faramis and the Matilda, but I think the three damage dealers, the one that kind of carried the game from early, mid to late, that's already locked in. So I don't see how Slovakia are going to bounce back, although they do have that front to back combo for now.
I mean, I'm expecting to see a jungle. I mean, the Fanny would still be great, even in the Moscow, but they need something, an assassin 100%. They need something that can do damage, because that's what they lack. They either need a heavy hitting mage like Farsa, or they need a heavy hitting assassin like Ling. I mean, the Julian is a great pick, but I think they have too much magic now, right?
Mm. Nah, I think it's fine. You're still relying on the Granger to dish out the physical damage. It's okay, but I'm not sure if Julian was the right way to go here, man. Like, what are you gonna do? Okay, that's three frontliners. Okay, but now you really need to top it off with the mage, with the mid laner at least.
You need an explosive mage, I agree with you. Maybe a Novaria, maybe something to help the Granger with his vision, with his Death Sanafa. Selena could work out as well, but still, they would like the team fight, right? They have the Gatukachi, they have the Hylos, they have the Julian, they have something to sustain in the fight, but they have nothing to finish the fight. They have nothing to deal damage in the fight. Minotaur, okay, I like that. I really like that pick. Something for the Moscow, something for the Joy. And there's the Farce I was talking about. Explosive damage right there. Something to control everything in the team fight. Something to go for the Granger. And A. I like the draft of Team Moldova a lot. I know about you, Kronos.
I like the Minotaur indeed, and not something we see quite often. But with the fact that Slovakia want to go for the team fight, I really like the Moldova and like the Minotaur in Moldova. But I think that Minotaur has forced out this Lunox as well, right? That's yes, you have the Brilliance to kind of immune yourself for that very reason. But then again, two single target heroes, man. Those are single target heroes. Yes, Granger has AoE in terms of his bullets and stuff like that, but it's against single target heroes. And the only chain CC, the only way they can win is that they really chain CC them. But again, the Minnow and Fury is not susceptible to crowd control.
No, I agree with you totally. The Lunox is something that I didn't expect, honestly. I think a Sicilian would have been better. Something for the late game to go well with the Granger. Because they have early game figured out. They have the Julian, they have the Hylos, they have the early game, mid game secured, right? But the Sicilian would have really been punishing here. Something to hit the Mosque, something to hit the Farsa, something to pull back that joy from her dashes, from her Holy Crystal.
Yeah, I think at this point, like once I feel like if Trent Malone starts to get a great early game, it's gonna be like absolutely barbaric for Team Slovakia. But Team Slovakia have that early game presence with the Hylos, with the Gatotkacha. I mean, not Gatotkacha so much, but the Hylos definitely, and also the level 3 power spike with this Julia. But only time will tell how it's gonna go about. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the land of dawn. Moldova versus Slovakia, game number 2. Will this be a sweep, or will we see a BO3 go all the way?
Yet again, we're seeing a Kuripika with the little ignition and an Gatotkacha with the vengeance. I mean, that's a bit odd, I'd call that a bit odd. I mean, they're winning out the mid lane fight, right? They have the Hylos, they have the Lunox who can heal herself. So the Farsa still does a ton of damage. At that Joy, farming so fast, going for a full bot lane clear, then just going to the top lane. Julian getting his red, doing the old jungler rotation, ignoring his own lizard.
Yeah, I think.
Junglers going for the top rotations. The pressure in the mid is what's really important, right? Are we gonna see an invade?
Yeah, I think they can invade with the high-low being present for sure, but here Mlbb goes for knockup as well at the same time. Enhanced sword, able to pick up the first kill quite easy, but here comes electrifying beat along with the rhythm. Finally, Mimo might be going down. Yes, he does. As you can see, Trend alone is able to clean up shop, and now looking for the second, but Chanko gets a law and order and able to stop that Joy from moving any further. But hey, that's only for a certain amount of time, because here comes Espresso able to pick up that one kill, and now Baka's the one to follow as well, trying to survive. Just not enough sustain as Espresso is able to pick up that kill. Yes, they lose Hora election at that point, but feels like Slovakia, man, they're climbing an uphill. They're fighting an uphill battle.
I mean, the only up part is this, that the Espresso got the kills and not the Joy. I mean, it was really punishing to get that corrosion side yet again early game. a lot of damage, a lot of true damage. Julian is going for the Little Wonder, using his immunity, his spike, a lot of utility used in that fight as well. You know, use the Revitalize, use the Flicker on Lux. Hilda only use the Sprint to get there faster. I mean, that's, you know, he can be wasted, as we say. Raiden getting punished a bit. Outcome.
Yeah. Oh, at this point, AOG
AOG.
actually being cancelled out. The turtle is still left open. I think Karen Blown able to pick up the fight easily for himself. But here comes the AOG after the Feather Airstrike being used by Raiden, man. He's too low to be able to do anything at this point. And Handford finding Nemo actually going a little too aggressive. I mean, no one's sure what the flicker catches them off guard. Shanko is the next one to follow, but in the back line, Trenbolone electrifying beats, gets himself a double, make that a triple. And Moldova are looking like they're going to take this game again.
Even the joy that Snowball effect is a really bad thing. Again, it's like a clone of game 1 in the gameplay. They're forcing too many fights. Katakasha should have went in, just giving the joy the dashes needed for her rhythm. Hey, mistakes do happen. Maybe, as we said, you know, they're under pressure, right?
Yeah, under pressure indeed.
Nice.
Yeah, I think Bidneck's position is actually really great, and you can see Shanko using the Feather Airstrike. I mean, using the Glorious Path to just to zone them out. But hey, Moldova, man, like I don't see a world where they lose at this point. They have a late game Moskov. The late game insurance policy is already there. Trent Balloon snowballing on the Joy. Now only gets his boots, and I think he's going to go for the Holy Crystal later on as well. And not just getting a cooldown reduction or penetration boots, getting a little bit sustained just to make sure he can last longer in these team fights. Oh, but what an SOD, just connected. And now look at Raiden. He's compensating off in a hard place. The Venge is not going to save you any longer, but the AOG to catch it starts on the back line. With the damage already being done with the Feather Airstrike. Yes, he went for the Enhanced Sword to survive, but Raiden did not. Finding Nemo should be next, but they're able to disperse after surviving. 1-for-1 trade.
XP laner for XP laner, but still, Team Moldova is 2,000 gold ahead. Yonko about to get punished, using his stun, using his poke, just slowing down the enemy's Ranger in a really good positioning right now. Hey, that was a really good fight. Both of the teams used as little resources as possible. Both retributions were burned. I don't think... I mean, still, the fight was won by Moldova, I think. They didn't use that many important spells. They still have the Flicker on Minotaur. He's about to get his ultimate. But they might be losing this top lane. SOD would be maybe really good here, but they don't have it. I think they're going to play that turret on the top lane.
Yeah, I think at this point... Oh, look at that, Baka. Oh, nice flicker from Hora just to make sure that they are able to get that kill and able to survive as well. I think Baka was playing aggressive, trying to get the kill. Just not the right place at the right time.
1,000 gold difference between both of the junglers, and a 2-level difference. Raiden using his AOG to escape, Trembalone chasing through. Doesn't use his addition in the fight, used it earlier to clear his jungle a bit faster. Even still, I mean, I feel this Hilda is just a really great feature. She's going for the Radiant Armor, already to basically immune most of the team Slovakia. Right?
Yeah.
That's devastating. They're just taking down Nemo.
Yeah, man, Nemo's got to go find his Nemo. Finding Nemo. This one, nice flicker. Minnow and Fury coming through as they find two and make it a third. And now might be a wipeout. SOD does miss, but Baka going ahead. Able to get the shutdown on Trenbolone. But at what cost, man? I think at this point, Moldova definitely had the better play. But the follow-up just didn't come through, and Slovakia with the tier 1 turret able to survive.
I mean, Fatum missing his SOD, I think, turned the tides of that fight around for Team Slovakia. A lot of sustain from that Revitalize from the Hylos. I mean, Brilliance coming in from Lunox. My god, that damage is crazy. Did you see that, Kronos? That Feather Airstrike just took down Hylos from half HP to nothing.
Yeah, man. I think at this point, oh wait, Raiden, what did he do? Try to get a taunt on there, not in front of Fatum. He definitely has the damage at this point. Level 8, of course. 6 minutes, 30 seconds in. Finding Nemo. I think this Julian is working out in a certain way, but to be honest, Moldova just looking like the same beast that they did again number 1.
Yeah, losing the 1v1 to Nemo.
Well, AOG connecting on towards Espresso, and seems like he's going to go down, but you can see the fight is split into two. Espresso's only the distraction. Mlbb still having enough burst to take down the Minotaur right now.
SOD being missed most of the strat, I think is a really bad thing. Ranger recalling back to respond to the Moscow split pushing, but even so, they lost the fight, win the tower. I mean, I don't think that's a really good call. Electrifying beats coming through from the Joy.
Oh, and that sword, so make sure he tries to get out, but here Finding Nemo should be able to pick up the turtle quite easily, but here comes Trembolone. I don't think he wanted to go in. Espresso's going to be taken down easily. Not having the electrifying beats would have been the saving grace for Slovakia, but here they're trying to find Fatum with the glorious pathway. He's trying to kite out, but the damage coming through right now is way too much from Bidnek after dishing out a Rhapsody. And Moldova, hey, although they're behind, they're ahead only 1k. Feels like Slovakia have finally found their footing.
And it's only 8 minutes in, so I don't think goal is really that important. Minotaur buying the Flask of Oasis as the first time is a really bad thing. I feel he should have went from maybe Radiant Armor Athena, to sustain a bit more of damage. Yeah, it's a good item, it's a lifeline. But even so, I don't think it's enough against for magic dealing heroes. We've seen Baka doing a lot of damage, Nemo doing a lot of damage, as well as Raiden with his AOG being a nuisance. Right, Joy in the top lane, maybe gonna pick out that Julian in a team fight.
Oh my god, what a flicker play coming through, man, with the Minoan Fury. SOD connects as well. They take down Baka and Finding Nemo, and now looks like they're gonna take down Shanko as well. Make that Raiden 4 down and now. Bidnek's the only one left standing, but he cannot defend. 5 members of Moldova trying to push turrets. There's 4 down the mid lane, taking out the tier 1, and now the tier 2 is next to follow. Bidnek using the Depth Sonata to try and clear it out, but only a matter of time as everything is being put out in front of Slovakia, and they're not able to do much as the mid lane Holy Shield is popped as well. Top side Holy Shield should be popped soon. Oh no, they're still able to hold on to it, but with the way Moldova have been going, woo, 1 fight is all it took.
Mlbb has been really consistent as Minion and Furies with a flicker. He's been doing a lot. SOD also hitting is a big game changer, right? But in the top lane, we didn't see that fight. But Trembolone 1v1, finding Nemo and won that fight pretty easily, right? Giving him a moment to go down. Yonko getting punished a bit by most getting skewered.
Oh, Feathered Airstrike comes through. They get again Shanko. He's been the sacrificial lamb for game number 1 and for game number 2 so far. Oh my goodness, what a stun onto Finding Nemo with the Spear of Misery. And now Fatum, man, he's online. He's 3-1-5 on a Moskov. He's split pushing while the rest are just able to take the Lord.
They have such a huge lead right now, 6,000 gold. Now it matters a lot. Both teams starting to get items, but Moldova is getting them faster compared to Slovakia. Look at the damage coming through from the Moscow and the Joy and the Farsight in the team fight. I mean, come on. Getting down the Hylos is not an easy feat, even for any hero. Even if they have full build, it's a 10,000 HP hero. It's a trillion HP, right? But the bottom is getting pushed easily. A lot of split pushing from Moscow, which I like, but his SODs haven't been on point most of the times, and I think that's what's holding him back, right?
Oh, hey, forget the SOD, man. He was about to meltdown Finding Nemo like he's butter at this point. And now they're going to pop the top side Holy Shield as well. And that means the next wave that comes through, which is going to be synced with the Lord, and all 3 waves without any sort of defense from the side of Slovakia. This might just be all she wrote, because now Moldova looking to end it off. Flicker present for Mlbb as well, looking for the right opening. Fatum is zoning them out. As you can see, the Lord crash in the mid lane, and he now goes to Flicker. Minoan Fury knocks up 2. The Feather Airstrike being dipped out as well. Looking for 3. Yes, they get it. And now double kill in hands of Hora with the electrifying beats unlocked as well. Trembolone fights the forward. Bidnek has to go back under the fountain of his own base as Moldova will make it 2-0.
Clean sweep coming through from Moldova. They got 2 turtles to the side of Slovakia, which got 1. Again, they just had that momentum going the Joy as well. They won some of the most important fights, but still that didn't help them turn it around. Again, I blame it on the picks, not the players. The Julian, not good there, right? Too much magical damage. You can get blocked pretty easily. Building Athena, building Radiant. Come on. They need a physical jungler, something to respond the mid lane, something to respond to the tanks. Or Hayabusa would be great there, something with Warriors that does more damage. Maybe a YSS would have been something to shut down the Farsight Feather Airstrike, the possibility. But even so, we're going to go into the headlights really quickly. Finding Nemo getting a kill in the early game and an even, but he misses the retry and giving Trembolone his ultimate. That Rhythm of Joy is really dangerous. fuck, I was about to kill him, but he got shot down by Chris, giving him a double kill in the early game. Again, a dangerous thing, but not the worst thing that could have happened. And just punishing, right?
Oh,
look at this,
man.
Complete slaughter.
Hey man, somebody ordered some meat, and they've ordered from Slovakia, and they got themselves 5 of them coming through from Moldova.
Slovakian lamb meat provided by Yonko.
Yeah, they just served up, man. They just served up the dish that was too hot for Slovakia to handle. And hey, get out of the kitchen if you can't handle the heat, because Moldova definitely cooking.
I cannot disagree with you, but the spear of destruction. No, actually, the Minoan Rage, the Minoan Fury have been completely cooking this entire game with a flicker combination. Just insane, explosive knockups. I don't know if you saw them, all chronos, but they're really amazing. SODs also pulling through in the most important team fights. And also syncing up the waves and using the Chill's ability is really good, right, Chronos? Come on now. You know more than me about this. You lost more games than I did. Let's see.
Oh, yeah. The way that they've been playing, you're not wrong. I think it just feel like Moldova are a different beast compared to Slovakia in this one, and you can see the stats so very clearly as well.
Look at the XP per minute coming from Joy compared to the Julian. 600, actually 500 difference. I mean, that's a lot, right? Gold as well. Damage coming through from Farsa and Moscow, just really disturbing, right? 70,000 just from the major load is a lot, especially a Farsa which you could easily pick off. And the MVP, I believe, was Trembolone, right?
Yeah, it has to be. Has to be Trembolone, man. The way that he's been playing, absolutely phenomenal on this Joy. And on not just that, the support definitely coming through from Hora as well on this Farsa. Beautiful positioning, beautiful feather airstrikes. There's no way for Slovakia to bounce back from that one.
Absolutely no way, but they have another chance tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, right? Another chance tomorrow, depending on their standings. The gold obtained is 4.6 thousand gold difference, damage taken 60,000 basically, right, in total. Even so, look at the damage towers. 0 split push capabilities from Team Slovakia. That's what killed them, right? The Moscow was there always on all the towers. He liked them a lot. But with the Rangers, that's the biggest issues. You don't have any use of Ranger to split push until the mid to late game, right? And he had no protection, not so great gangs, right, compared to the Moscow. Yes, they got that tower down in the first few minutes of the game, but Moscow wasn't killed, right? He wasn't losing farm, he was still farming, he just stopped lanes, you know, kept going. He was a happy little camper. Even so, Kronos, did I change your mind about Team Moldova's?
Hey man, you didn't change my mind. Moldova did with the way they played, okay? Dakota just trying to take credit wherever he can.
Come on, I told you about Moldova. There will be secrets cooking.
I agree. They definitely are with the way that they played, and I think this goes to show how good of a team how good of a display they put on for us, to be honest, and just goes to show what level Europe has evolved into slowly. Although Slovakia had some household names, hey man, it's just that Moldova were just a step ahead in terms of draft and the way the mechanical skill was, their micro, their macro, and also again playing or taking the aggressive route throughout the entire game.
I mean, just that heavy invade combo, even if they got that invade in the early game, I don't think it meant much for Team Slovakia. They risked it for the biscuit and paid the price for it. The snowball effect is what kept them going through. They at least gave that Joy 2-3 kills in the early game. I don't know why they were playing so aggressive, so mindlessly. But still, this was only the first series of the night. Next we're gonna have Hungary versus Austria, which is a game I'm looking forward to. So make sure while we go on break, you guys go get some snacks, get some sodas, get something to relax yourself, you know? Something to help you feel it better, you know? Like when you eat, you have, man, this is a show. This is really, truly amazing. Absolute cinema, as they say.
I agree. And on that note, we'll take a short break and we will be back for the next series of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon. Welcome everyone, you're watching the World Esports Iesf Europe regional qualifiers, of course, and joining you at the desk will be myself, Kronos, alongside me, trusted partners, Dakota, a little brighter in the face this time, and I think, of course, you got to see match number 1, which was super exciting indeed, between Moldova and Slovakia. And I think Moldova was just absolutely decimating Slovakia, and for the next game, it was supposed to be Hungary versus, who was it, Dakota? Austria, indeed. But we have switched it up since we have the fan favorite France versus Moldova that we saw in the previous one. So I'm telling you, Dakota, I think this is a nail biter indeed for us.
Let's see if Moldova can keep up with the pace they had in game number 1, in series number 1 actually. Both of the teams, from what I know, play extremely well. But I think France will maybe take the cake. We have Nefiria on goal, we have Zedel on the jungle, we have, I think, Oscar, if I'm not mistaken, on the roam, or Nepi, I don't remember exactly, but still it's gonna be an insane matchup, right? We've seen what Moldova can do. We haven't seen France here on this stream, but I'm excited. I'm really excited. For France, we have Zedel, Yufei, Victor, Nefiria, and Zeus. Come on now, this is gonna be exciting.
I'm telling you, man, not just that. Look at that, Zedel, of course, UEFA, Victor, Nefiria, Zeus. This is a star-studded lineup that we know of. And not just that, Nefiria, Olivia Zhang, one of the only female players that are actually playing in the ISF men's qualifier, so like a general qualifier. I think she's one of the only females in the squads, if I'm not wrong, right? Out of all the teams?
Yeah, I don't think you're... No, you're not wrong. I think she is the only female that's participating in the male side of ISF Mlbb, but still she can compete with them and she can keep up. She's even better than some of them.
Exactly. It's not just it's not like it's a male ISF thing. It's just ISF World Esports Qualifier. There's a separate one for later on as well for females, if I'm not wrong. But I think this is just goes to show that from France, she's one of the top goal laners, and hey, gender or sex has no boundaries, I guess, in terms of playing esports.
Hey, it's Mobile Legends. You can play anything. If you play it well enough, you can go professional with it. We're gonna be proven wrong or right this game, but I think I'm gonna stick with my first pick with Moldova. What about you, Kronos? I know you're gonna go with France.
I know, man. I'll be honest. We know this is going to be a stacked game indeed, because we saw what Moldova brought into the fray for the previous series. Fatum, Horarection, Trent Balone, Espresso, Mimarmi. And I'm telling you, this is going to be one for the ages, because super exciting. And if Moldova played the way that they did in series number 1, hey, France might just have a difficult game. But I'm going to stick with the fact that I want to check out the draft and then call the game.
Come on, Kronos, call it before. It's a 50-50 chance.
It's a 50-50,
I know you want France.
You're right.
You want France, don't you, little boy?
No,
but I'm gonna stick with Moldova, the big boys league right now, Kronos.
It's not like I want France or don't want France or anything. Like I said, it just comes down to the draft. Of course, I know the players from France more than I know the players from Moldova. So I think that may be a slightly different story, maybe leaning on towards one team, but at the end of the day, I'm telling you, man, it's gotta be a team that comes out and gets the better draft. Because yes, France have the star-studded lineup. They have the big famous. They're one of the fan favorite squads, but that also means there's a lot of information that's given out, right? So Moldova can use that information in their favor, banning out all of the hero pool of Zedel in the jungle. We know he likes to play assassins, right? So if you take off the assassins, what else is left? He's not really good on those fighters. He's not really good on those tanks. And we know Nefiria likes to play some of the heroes like the Iritel, the Layla. Yeah, folks, she plays the Layla. So yes, the Iritel, the Layla. I've not really seen her on the Moskov too often. Not seen her. The Bruno is all right. Then again, doesn't really play much of the Harriet. So having this information, Moldova can do a lot with it.
They can nitpick the picks that they want. They can keep them for themselves, but they have to focus down. I think. They have to ban respect Zedel Ling. Come on now, we have to do it. We have to ban the Snake Ling over here. But even so, let's not, get that joy out of our memory, out of our system. We know how dangerous the jungler of Team Moldova was with it. Kronos, we have to give respect. Respect is due to Moscow as well. Joe as well, and the healer was proficient enough, you know? I mean, there's a possibility.
Yeah, I agree, and I agree. The first, your first and the second half of what you said both, because the fact that you gotta respect Zedel's Ling is one of his best heroes. It's not his best hero at all, is what he's known for. And we've seen him pull off upsets against the lineup where it completely counters Ling as well. And that's where it comes to the fact that you're talking about comfort picks, right? Zakota, comfort picks. The Ling has to be respected. And not just that, we saw what Moldova has to offer. We've seen that Joy, we've seen that Moscow. Those are picks that need to be respected as well. And of course, don't forget Espresso on that Hilda, man. That guy was chasing people down like they actually stole his wallet or something, right? He was just running at them the entire time.
I mean, come on, let's give credit where credit is due. The roamers and the mages were actually as well top of the line. The Minotaur with his minion Fury with the engaged were very intense. The Farsa with the Feather Airstrike as well, just following up perfectly, zoning out as much as she could, as best as possible, right? What can you do, right? Even if they pick a Ling, I think Zedel always had this problem when he played versus a Fredrin with Link, right? I think that's his biggest weakness because of the taunt and the knockup of Fredrin. I mean, that's nothing you can do about it, right? That's the biggest counter. Crowd control, that's, you cannot change that. You cannot put a Purify on him and put him on XP, right? Even if you like to see that.
I mean, that's the whole point, right? That's the main factor. It's just the fact that all the data about France and about ZL is available to the public, to the general public, and we've seen it. That's why you're talking about the fact that he's having difficulties with Fredrin, right? And that's the most important point. But do they know anything about Moldova, though? That's the big question. Do they really have information about Moldova apart from the first series? And to be honest, I don't really think they probably have the chance, because the previous series went all the way to game number 3, and after that they probably needed some rest to calm their nerves, nourish their bodies, and just reset. So I think France are going into this blind, while Moldova just have a lot of information about France.
I mean, you never know. Maybe they scrimmed against Moldova a bit, but Zedel is going out with the first ban. I think they're going to target that mid lane, right? Maybe going to take down that Zhuxin or that Kimi as the first pick, I think. First pick ban.
Yeah, I think here it's... the Kimi is a first pick for sure. I think Moldova are looking to ban that out. And at the same time, I feel like Hayabusa is something that France might want to take out of the picture, just because they could lean in with the Joy. They could lean in with Fanny as well. But if you ask me, I think a brilliant ban for France, just to give Zedel some breathing room. Take out that Hilda, man. Like Espresso Hilda, I'm telling you, that guy was running at you like you stole his wallet or something. You seen those memes, Dakota, where they're just running at them, where they stole something and this guy chased it? Espresso felt like that individual. Oh,
I cannot
first
relate
ban
the
missed?
same feeling had. I think Zedel didn't ban it. Maybe that's a strategy. We've seen it in the Turkey game as well. They didn't ban, they left open the Fanny as well. I think, talking about the Fanny, there it goes. But still, the Link has been banned. They respected Victor with his Selena. I mean, crazy Selena, right? Zeus is the XP laner, Neferia is the goal laner, Mlbb is the roamer right now, just to get people caught up. Espresso is the XP laner for Team Moldova, Phantom the gold, Trebor is the jungler, Nimar is the roamer, and Jar is the mid laner. So just to get people caught up. In the first game, Team Moldova swept Team Slovakia. There's the Kimi. I mean, come on, I mentioned it. Even so, Zedel, is this a strategy or just a mistake, right? You have to think about it.
I don't know, man. I'm trying to wait for confirmation from the back end, of course. But at the same time, I did receive a confirmation about something else that's not related. Yes, related to this game and not at the same time. I want to confirm that Neferia is not the only female player currently playing this Iesf. Of course, we have the captain of Ireland, Jade, right? She goes by Remy Mu, IGN, and that's one of the other female players. Of course, at the same time, we have Serbian players also, who is a player from Serbia. That's actually a female as well at the same time. And if I'm not wrong, there are 2 from Wales. One is their captain, which is Emily. And of course, I think the other player is Luis. So that's nice to know, man. There are a lot coming through. And I think for Serbia, it's probably... I don't want to take a guess and butcher it, so I'm not going to guess for Serbia. Sorry about that. But yes, Serbian player 2 from Wales, so they're about 5 female players, and she's one of the only 5 that's there. And hey, looking at the bans and the picks, Matilda left open, Newbie gonna pick it up.
Kalea. Of course, Kalea left open as well. We've seen Newbie last game. I don't think if people were on the French team, but they seen the Matilda picked up by Newman. He did extremely well with it. He zoned perfectly from what I saw. Even so, given the Kalea as a first pick is a really big mistake, considering Zedel is an assassin player, so he can lock him down pretty easily. On Joy, on Fanny, on Ling, on Hayabusa, you can just pick him up from the ground and boom, you're done with the Tsunami Slam, and that's it. We're gonna see Trouble picking up the Joy again. Come on now, respectfully.
I'm telling you, man. Like, I agree, Zakota. I agree with what you're saying. The Kalea being given away means that Zedel's not allowed to play as assassins. Although the Joy's taken off the table, the Fanny's gone and done and out as well. Respect to Victor, Selena, and the Jushin being taken out. And I think now, yes, Matilda's a great pick for the entire team, but then Zedel's not going to have the option to play around much. And that's why you can see Zeus gets his hands on the Phoveus, which is absolutely amazing against the Joy. A great frontliner. And they give the Harriet as well. And I'm telling you, I'm not seeing Nefira play on the Harriet so far. So I'm not sure. This could be a flex Harriet, Zakota. This could be a flex Harriet.
Kronos, you know what would have been a better pick instead of the Harif? The Lucas jungle with the Matilda roam. Pull him out of any dangerous situation. I mean, that would have been the best pick here. Right? He has so many similarities. Matilda gives him one as well. The Moscow as well going in the hands of Fatum. I think he's going to do pretty well against this enemy team. He has an anti-dive here. He can just push them back. He can play his momentum. He has that flicker ready. He has that dash ready. That phantom step. But still, I think the Phoveus is a bit too early, right? You would have expected maybe a mid laner here. Or maybe a jungler. But even so, the Suyu gets picked off.
And I'm telling you, I feel like this is looking a little difficult for France so far. The Suyo is being taken off, and I think next is going to be the Hayabusa. Unless they want to bait out that Hayabusa coming out from France, right? And Moldova so far, they're cooking with their draft, man. You got to respect Tremblone's Joy. Although you don't got to respect Tremblone's Joy, Joy itself in the current meta is absolutely devastating for teams to go against. So I feel like this is a pick that definitely needed to be respected, but given away. Kalea's another one. Moskov, of course. So if France are going to pick an assassin, you're already countered by 2 of the picks from the side of Moldova. Moldova are cooking.
I mean, I agree with you completely. As I said, I don't think the Phoveus was the wise choice, but Pilou getting banned out, again, a great ban. Maybe they're thinking to go a tank jungler like Fredrin or, as I said, the Lucas. And I think that's what Team Moldova should focus on, right? The front line jungler. But Eloy gets banned out. Hold on. Maybe it's a respect ban, right? I don't know what Victor's plays that much. I didn't follow him as well. But still, you know, it's an interesting ban, right? You banned already 3 of the mages. But expect another jungle ban for Zedel. The Ling is left open on the table. The Hayabusa, the Lucas, the Fredrin. Again, 3 very good junglers that are combating in the current meta.
Yeah, I think that that Louis is definitely a respect ban, of course. Yes, 3 junglers taken out in the current meta, I agree. But yes, that Louis definitely is a respect ban. They take out the Boxia as well, just to make sure Zeus and Newbie are having a better time with a little bit of spell vamp, with a little bit of the sustain. So it's looking tough for France at this point. They really need to round off the draft with some really good strategies coming through on their side. But for now, with this Joy being present, with the Kalea, with the Moskov, Moldova looks stacked, man. That side, that Barrett side, currently, it looks super stacked in terms of draft. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just went for a Gatotkacha or a Hylos just to add more into their, more oomph into their lineup, right, Zakota?
Even a chip would be great here, honestly. The
Man, Badang is left open
for Espresso.
Badang is still left open as well. But they go for the Kufra. I'm not sure now. This is overcooking, right?
I mean, I agree with you. You burnt it a little bit, but I can see it, right? You take as a precaution for the Assassin pick. It's good against the Harriet, but still, the Harriet has the Purify, he has the Matilda. The Phoveus not going to get affected by it a lot. I agree with you. Gatotkacha would be better in Rome, even if you stop with the Kalea, maybe.
Payback time.
Oh, see, I told you, they've baited out the Hayabusa the entire time. Now, with the Farsa being present, yes, Farsa is absolutely insane. That means this Herod is still going to be locked in the gold lane. But, Zakota, Again, the Hayabusa's not having a good time. He's gonna get countered by the Kalea, the Moskov, the Kufra, and now even the Faramis, right? So they really need that early game snowball on their side. However, Moldova, man, looking at the draft, they've checked all those boxes, but they still need that early game presence. If the Kufra, if Mimarmi is able to keep up with Mlbb, then we might be seeing the game. Otherwise, if the Farsa gets a little ahead, yeah, it's looking tough for Moldova. That's the only silver lining for France here.
I feel like the Kalea is a bit of an overstimulation on the XP lane. Maybe he needed something that was a bit more of a front line than an engager, right? They have the Kufra as an engager. They have nothing to really bruise the enemies, right? That's why you see the kill that 2 games from Team Moldova. It's a bruiser, right? It's a bruising type. You take damage, you absorb it. You can run in the bush, hide, replenish fully. But still, it's still a great draft going from both sides. I mean, it's pretty equal in the mid-late game and the early side. But still, I think Moldova won the draft. I have to agree with you.
I agree. I think Moldova definitely have the better draft here against France. But hey, you never know. Draft is 50-50, but the solution definitely comes down to execution. And if they are able to execute or not, that's going to be the most important factor here in this series. Looking at the fact that it could be, it could be something that, it could be an early game that France want to play for. But then again, they're relying a lot on Mlbb along with the Farsa. It's going to be in the hands of Victor, of course. I think Mlbb and Victor really have a big part to play here.
No, I agree with you completely. It just all matters on the early game. As soon as Zedel gets his level 4 and if he gets a pick off on the mid lane, I think that's going to be his best job, right? Because he cannot pick off the top lane, the goal lane. The bot game just push him back as we've seen recently. But even so, the mids are trading equally. Nefaria is going for a... Oh, wait. Victor on the goal lane, Nefaria on the mid lane. Hold on, we've seen a role change.
They're seeing a role change indeed. Purify already popped, and here goes the electrifying beats. Ogi Shadow Kill being expended. Trent Balone actually not level 4, and I think that was a little too much for them. He should have hit the level 4 power spike to make sure that they were able to get ahead. I think that definitely gives France the advantage here.
I mean, even so, that's why I wanted the Kalea to be a bit on roam. That extra healing would have helped Team Moldova a lot. I don't feel it as a good XP lane. Kalea lacks in the fronting department. He can just go in, go out, that's it. But Zedel...
Oh, wait. Trying to go for it, but you can see they actually pull back Espresso. Nothing here. Not yet.
We've seen a flicker get burned, but even so, Zedel's emblem, his retribution is the ice retribution, which the burn and the flame retribution is the most powerful on Hayabusa, right? I mean, I can see why you want ice to run away from the enemies, but still, that flame rate with the extra damage is a huge help in the early game, especially versus this attack speed and tanky heroes.
Nah, I think at this point, you can see Mimarmi actually charging up the Tiger's Revenge. It gets Zeus, and right now no rage, but you can see in a furious position. Oh my god, he gets a Batman knock up. Zeta with the Retribution, able to get the turtle as well. As Zeus is able to go through with the Infernal Pursuit, and now with the Ogi Shadow Kill already being expended, we go for the Circling Eagle, one after another. The rest of Moldova to fall. But the first one to go down is Espresso, as Trent Balone is being chased down by Mlbb. They get that kill, 4-0 in the favor of France. It's all thanks to that early game, right? Dakota, that early game level 4 mistake that Trent Balone made, they're paying the price.
They gave too many kills to the Farsa already. They gave 2 kills to the Farsa, 4 assists to the Hayabusa. I mean, come on now. And they lost the turtle fight. I don't think Kufra should have initiated that fight without his level 4. And that's the huge turning point, right? As soon as you get a level 4, you have that ultimate, you have the Tyrant's Revenge, you have something to help your team a bit more. Yes, Kufra jumped on him, he engaged, he started to engage, but he had nothing to follow up. That's why I didn't like the Kalea, right? No bruisers, nothing to keep the fight going. You have something to start the fight, you have nothing to keep the fight going, right?
Oh, Trent Balone here, able to find something. Oh, they get the knock up onto it just from Espresso, come through with the title strike. Purify already popped, but there's the Tsunami Slap, but you can see the feathered airstrike to follow. Nefaria able to back up Mlbb, but Mlbb gets burnt down indeed.
I mean, that was a really nice pickup from Team Moldova. It was the roamer, but still, I'm seeing Victor under a bit of pressure from the Kufra. He still has his Purify ready. Nefaria in the bottom trying to poke down the Faramis. He almost Netherrealm popped.
Was that the Netherrealm popped? Oh
that was
my
the
god.
Pop.
Oh no, that's not looking good, man. But you can see the EXP lane, Espresso, Zeus duking it out now, forcing a flicker out as well. Hora. went in ahead. Doesn't have Flicker to make the play. But this game so far, the early game that we spoke about in the draft earlier, Dakota, that France needed to dominate, they have. So check in their boxes for their keys to victory indeed.
There's already 4 people on the 30th. Maybe Victor is going to rotate down. Remember, we have the SOD from the Moscow that could come through. Marmy though.
Oh man, he's forcing out the flicker. Certainly he'll comes through, but you can see a Tsunami Slam. Try catching the Fury. Featheresh try cancel out as well. SOD misses. Trent below on the back line. But Zeus is just buying so much time as they get the kill. As Espresso was completely taken out from the fight. But here Zeus actually picks up another with the guiding wind. Able to make it out straight into the tunnel pit. Trent below on this jury is not getting what he wants.
This Farsa is really dangerous. We're seeing, we're seeing it work. We're seeing the strategy work. The Matilda, the wings by wings, just being able to run from everything, right? Also saving the phobias from that tower dive was really, the best thing there, right? He couldn't have done anything. He didn't have the flicker ready, but even so, Trombolone activates his rhythm, but still, he doesn't have any damage. He doesn't have any items. Fatum is getting pushed back into his own tower by Victor. A lot of damage coming through from both sides, but still not enough from Marmy. He has the engage, but he has no follow-up, as I said. Nothing to follow him up with.
No, man, it's not looking good. It's not looking good if you are Moldova at this point. Trent Balone, he gave an absolute stellar performance in the first match of the day, but now when he's up against one of the powerhouses, one of the favorites to take it all in France, having a difficult time. You can see now Moldova realized that they should not bite more than they can chew. They need to get the right appetite, but now they get that big tyrant's revenge on towards Victor. Purify is already taken out, and that means the next engage, especially from Espresso, will be a big game changer here on the top side.
Fars has the flicker. Mlbb still has his flicker. I mean, his Purify. They have a lot of items to burn and spells. We're seeing Zettel trying to go for the 1v1. He still has his Oogie Shadow Kill, but I don't think he's going to use it. Joy is just too fast. SOD towards the bot lane, misses completely.
Oh, wait, they actually catch one. I mean, Marmy could go for the play, but you can see the Tsunami Slam coming down on Zeus, put it with Nefaria with that big feather. And strike the position, man. Nobody was able to catch her. And now Zedel goes in with the Ogi Shadow Kill, not able to get anyone. Espresso trying to survive, but Zeus bumped in his way with the Infernal Pursuit, gets himself a double as Nefaria picks one as well. And now they're looking for more. Oh, it's a little low. The Fury with the wings by rings, threatening, but don't get more.
I mean, we like to draft the Team Moldova more, but Team France is playing theirs better. We're seeing the Bruiser Phobius going into play. We're seeing how much damage he can take, how much damage he can do, and how much he can sustain. That's the best part. He has the Matilda every time he's in danger, he can go out, but we're seeing the Farsa zoning out and killing direction. Oh my god!
Oh man,
this is a complete slaughter, Kronos.
This is not looking good, right? This is absolutely not looking good. I can tell. All thanks to that one small mistake, Dakota, in the early game. It was just a small mistake. Trent below needed the level 4. If he got that level 4 and then entered the fight, that would have been a completely different story. It's just off the back of that one misplay from Moldova. France have capitalized, got themselves all the tier 1s. Now the tier 2 on the bot side as well. And I think France are just getting 8k ahead of goal at the same time.
I mean, I think Team Moldova felt that Team Slovakia felt in the first match of the day, but even so, Fatum is playing good, right? He's not playing bad. He still has his gold up. Not that big of a difference, but even so... Too much damage.
Oh,
too much damage.
Yeah, too much damage indeed, but the Purify already popped, and now Tsunami Slam actually misses out. Meanwhile, Marmy's gonna be the one that chased away Espresso. I'm not sure if he's in the right spot with the Ogi Shadow Kill to ever pick up one. And now the Purify not being used. Hora was a little too hard up with what France are doing to them.
Zedel! Come on, I have to give respect to that. Zedel made a really big play with the Oogie Shadow Kill. He got 2 shadows lined up perfectly to take down Atom. And come on now, that was a proper Hayabusa engage. You cannot say anything bad about this game. I mean, they're playing perfectly along the draft. 10,000 gold. This is pure mayhem.
Yeah, man. And the period is absolutely just destroying nuked Trent Balone right there with that feathered airstrike. Shoosh.
pure mayhem, as I said. The Farsa's damage is just insane. That Feather Airstrike does so much damage, just melting down Balloon easily, right? No challenge. They lost the top and the bot lane protective tower defenses. The mid lane still stands, and that's where the Lord will probably march to. Even so, right? One teamfight can change the pace of the game. If they get a pick up on Ethereum, I think that's going to be a big game changer, right, Kronos?
A big game changer, man. If they're able to get that one kill indeed, but not the one. Oh my god, he goes for the Revenge of the Rage combo on towards Zeus, but you can see the damage coming through from the Ogi. Shadow kill is too much for them to handle. Zero makes himself a double, gets the Lorax, and now looking like they're unstoppable indeed. All the tier 2s taken away. Only the base turrets left standing as the Lord is slowly marching down the top side.
Using too many skills for the XP laner. I mean, that's the strategy of Team France. They want them to use the skills on Zeus, right? Zeus is the frontliner, he's the bruiser, so they want them to waste the skills on him. Even so, better as they're coming through.
Yeah, you can see on towards the rest of the team, but here Timetable go to the back line, but he does no damage. They lose 3 in the process. Triple kill in the hands of Victor. Hey, Timetable, the only one left standing as well as in the base crystal. They give it up as France dominate game number 1. 14k goal lead in this best of 3.
And we have to give props to Team France because this was a complete slaughter of a match. The draft was played out perfectly. The heroes also used their best extent. The Farsa using the Feather Airstrike at any chance she got. I mean, we have to give props where props are due, Kronos.
Hey man, I agree. You're the one who's looking for like a slight bit of, you know, hey, like, hey, our friend's gonna make a mistake. I'm just joking, Dakota. But you're right. Respect where respect is due. Props where it's due. Indeed, France showing up. And to be honest, Dakota, I think it all came down to the fact that Kufra was just so unnecessary in their draft, right, for Moldova.
The Kufra was unnecessary. They already had an engager in the Calais. I felt like if they had maybe something like a Gatotkacha,
Hilda, man.
to
Hilda,
sustain the fight,
Gatotkacha.
to bruise, right?
Yeah, exactly. There was the Hilda, there's the Gatotkacha, then there was, you know,
even the Khalid.
There was the Hylos, the Badang was left open, the Khalid was left. There are so many, a plethora of options for them to choose from. But then they just went for a comfort pick. And yes, I know you mentioned this multiple times that a comfort pick is important, but in this case, the comfort pick was not the answer.
I agree with you, Kronos. Sometimes people do make mistakes in the draft, but that was the mistake. They had 2 people to pick off. They had 2 engagers. They had no one to really keep the fight going. Compared to Team France, they had the Matilda to engage. They had the Zedel to engage with Hayabusa. They had something to start the fight. They had the Phobius to keep the fight going, you know. They had something to stay in the damage, keeping the team fight going. He was too tanky to kill. He had too many skills to run away. The Matilda helping always the guiding wind. The Flicker always ready at his will. Even still had nothing, no answers. Nothing for the farms and no knockups.
No, man, I think the way that they're playing, jeez, France have just absolutely decimated, wiped the floor with Moldova. They gave only 1 kill. Okay, 2 towards the end, but that's Phobius and also Mlbb, the Matilda. So those are definitely not the ones that you need. And it was like 10 minutes, 28 seconds, Dakota. It's the whole, you know, like 12 minutes is when the holy defenses or holy shields are deactivated. The fact that they finished the game even before that.
And we have to give props where props are due. The Matilda did his job perfectly. A lot of healing, a lot of these engages were perfectly committed. Like, do you see that Phobius under the tier 2 turret? He was just between 2 turrets, 3 members of Team Moldova on him, and he just got out scot-free because of the guiding winds. Kronos, come on now. The roamer carried the game here. Yes, Zedel played well. Yes, Nefria played extremely well. But we have to give props to the roamer. Come on now.
Of course, man. It's Mlbb on this Matilda. That definitely pulled up, right? I feel like MVP definitely goes to Mlbb or Neferia, in fact, just because of the fact that it's 5-0, 12 KDA, but an 18 kill participation coming through from Mlbb. Yeah, this is a completely one-sided story. Indeed, you can see the highest gold was definitely Victor, the carry being Victor as well, and Neferia, like, the most damage dealt, I believe, is definitely Neferia on the Farsa. But hey, assist-wise, man, Mlbb,
The wingman.
17 assists and a kill. Yeah, I actually chased down the Joy as well in the early game, right? When Joy was trying to get away and then just forcing the occasion and trying to get that kill. I think that definitely was the difference maker.
That's right. The early game is really what changed the pace of Team Moldova. We've seen it happen in match number 1, map number 1. Joy got the kills, got the momentum going. But after Joy got punished, didn't get early momentum. They were losing traction of the game. They were losing hold of what's happening in the game. They were losing power, control, the map, of everything. Compared to Team France, they were like going ever as soon as they wanted, right? Victor was alone on lane. Even if he got ganked, the Purified Xenon's Force, he could just run away perfectly instantly, right? How many dashes on Harry? And I feel that's why they picked the Kufra, just for the Harry. And they were expecting maybe the Hayabusa, but still, I don't think it's worth it, right, Kronos?
Definitely not, man. Definitely not with the way that they played. Oh my god, it's just a complete one-sided story, a one-sided affair. First half of the draft, Dakota, I think you agree with me, Moldova were cooking. And then when they introduced that Kufra, we could smell that little bit of burn coming through that dish, right? And then all of a sudden, they go for the Faramis. I mean, at least if you're picking up the Kufra, you got to pair it up with some burst damage, right? Not the Faramis that is looking for more sustain. That, again, didn't work out. However, on the side of France, the first out of the draft, not looking as good as we'd like. Yes, you had everything to make the perfect plays, but it's just that the side of Moldova had a much better draft first half. And this is one of those moments where you gotta say, Dakota, they had us in the first half, not gonna lie.
That's correct, Ross. They had they had the snowball rolling, but they didn't have something, to give it a bit more power. They didn't have more snow on the, they ran out of snow. They hit the road. Come on, we have to give props. They played extremely both sides, even if they lost. I think just the draft mistake is what made the game happen, and the mistake you pointed out, which was the Joy not getting the level 4. But even so, we had enough talk of this game. We're gonna give the players a break. Make sure to grab some snacks, grab something to drink, grab something, maybe write a comment in the chat supporting either ZL or Team Moldova. Someone, you like. Tell them, hey,
it's the
something
snake,
happened,
man.
We like it, I learned from this.
He's the snake.
The snake Zedel, correct. He was in the grass snake all day.
We'll be back after a short break, folks. Don't go anywhere.
And we're
And we just-
back
both are
with
just
map
getting
number
that
2
you
of the
guys won.
second match of the day. Will France take the crown, or will it go to a best of 3 by Moldova taking the win right now? Write down in the chat on YouTube to say what you think, and we're gonna be sure to check it out a bit later on. I mean, we've seen how dominant Moldova was in game 1. Maybe they made a few mishaps, as you said, with the Joy, making that mistake, not getting the level 4, but you saw how powerful France is, with that Matilda, with that Hayabusa, and with that Farsa doing insane damage. Let's not take into consideration. I mean, the disadvantages, maybe it was, emotions playing versus Zedel the Snake. What are you thinking, Kronos? What do you think of this?
Slippery as a snake indeed. Moldova were not able to catch him a single time, and that being the big difference maker in that one, especially that early game, man. I mean, I cannot. I'm not. Call me a broken record, because I am saying the same thing again and again. It's that early game, that one small skirmish in the mid lane. ZL was level 4, Trenbolone was not. If it was the other way around, the game, the script is completely flipped right at that point. So I feel like that's what definitely happened in game number 1. But that means even a slight bit of a mistake, and the other team will capitalize.
Enough talk of game number 1. Let's go into game number 2 with a different mindset. We're gonna see Team France banning out the Gatkacha and the Kimi Moldova banning out the Matilda respect ban and Zeus respect ban with the obviously how powerful those two have been in the last game. Again, Loi getting banned out by Team France. Last time it was Team Moldova who did it. So it's an interesting mindset, right? But while the enemies don't want you to think you're gonna pick.
Definitely is. I think it just happened to be at the moment they are respecting too much Moldova. They've taken out the Phobius, they've taken out the Matilda, and I think they might just take out the no way they ban out the Ling, right? They got to take out something that's a little more overpowered in this situation. What would you think? Like, I was gonna say, man, it's got to be that Fanny.
I mean, I'm gonna expect Zedel to be a big boss. You're gonna pick out that Ling, obviously. Again, Victor on the Harif? Come on, Zedel, show us what the Snake knows and go with that Ling. I'm expecting Team Moldova to learn from their mistakes and pick something different. I don't think they should pick again the same Kalea with Kufra. We're gonna go for the Juxin and maybe a jungler. I pick a jungler right here. Hayabusa's open, Joy again open, Suyu open, Lucas open. There's so many possibilities for them to pick. Even the Expeditioners could go well right now. And again, Espresso with that household heal that he has from game is number 1.
Oh, that Hilda is definitely something that people need to watch out for, especially ZL. That Hilda was big game changer in the first series, right? In the first match of the day. The Jushin, again, kind of preventing him from playing any sort of a tanky lineup, especially Zeus if he's trying to go for a nice bruiser in the front line. I feel like Hylos is going to have a tough time if they're going to go against this Jushin. But here, again, we know ZL is going to go for an assassin. The Harriet's already been picked up in the hands of Victor. We know it's not going to go to Netheria. Farsa is still left open. But then again, Farsa, Harriet, you're not going to have a good time against the Hilda. If you play the Joy, it's the same thing. If you play the Hayabusa, you're going to have the same thing. But still, they run it back. Why fix what's not broken? Hayabusa, Harriet, Farsa, same 3 core compared to the game number 1. And now Moldova, are they going to switch it up?
I think they have to answer with the Kalea, but on the wrong position or a Cho. A Cho would be good. Oh, Lucas, jungle. I mean, they already gave away their cards, right? They're going to try to go for a support pick, so they have to ban support from Team France. But even so, I think they have to focus a bit more on Zeus. If they break down Zeus' team composition of his heroes, I think that's going to give Moldova an edge, a sharp edge, something that can, use to pry open the composition. But I'm getting banned out, and I expect the Hylos to get banned out as well, because I assume Team Moldova is going to want to get for the most.
The Lucas is a nice pick. The Badan's been taken out. The Florin, Moskov's got to go here. I agree. No, wait. France need to ban out the Moscow. Moldova get the Moscow for themselves. I think that's a good play for them. Taking out the CC to make sure the Hilda doesn't have a tough time in the lane. And I think here France, yeah, they need to ban out the Moscow. I don't see a world where they let Fatum get the hands on the Moscow, right?
If Zeus goes for the high-lows, I think, Moscow can be left open for Team Moldova. But even so...
But still...
He didn't have like a power behind him last game as well. He was getting pushed back by Victor, getting frozen on his own lane, where Moscow's supposed to be dominating, is getting poked out by Victor. I expect him to go for the Granger this time. It's a pretty nice counter for the Harit, as we know. He has a lot of dashes. Granger can just escape anything, right? He's slimy like a snake, like Zedel himself. Even so, I expect a golden ban or a mid ban. No, actually, not a mid ban, a gold. Yeah.
Hey, I don't know. Okay, that's a very specific ban, right? The Brody. Maybe it's one of Fatum's comfort heroes that we don't know of, but probably they got the information from, just to prevent the corrosive strike when it comes onto the Hayabusa. So I feel like that Brody is a very specific target ban, if you ask me. But still, Moscow left open. Moldova can pick it up at any time.
I'd go here maybe for a Clint. Clint would work real well here, for the Farsa to zone him out, for the Harry to zone him out, and for Zedel the Snake, you can maybe throw, a Bola at his feet to stun him down. Again, Minotaur, a copy, almost same copy from game draft number 1 in Series 1. You're seeing Minotaur, second pick, second game, it's, that the tarot cards are up. We've seen what he can do, but he was too squishy even in that game. Minotaur is a squishy tank compared to these hard roamers like Gatotkacha or maybe a Khalid. He's still soft. Yes, he has that healing. Yes, he has that flank squeeze, but still not enough. Nothing to pull back that Lucas, right? To hold him down, something to sustain him.
Man, to be honest, do you really feel like the Minotaur fits there?
Not really. Some in the support, maybe an Angel or something, maybe a Khalid on their own position to force out the Hayabusa and invade. Sylvana, Rome, and there is the highlights I was talking about. Even so, what are they gonna pick on the goal lane? If they go Moscow, they're a bit, screwed.
Yeah, 1-1 maybe,
1-1 or a clean.
I agree. Yeah, 1-1. You and I both thought of the same thing.
This is looking like another game for France.
Yeah, man, they had us in the first half. Not gonna lie.
I didn't like the Lucas being picked out so early because I knew they were going to ban out supports. But even so, the Moscow was so predictable. That's why they picked the Sylvanas. That's why they picked the Hylos, because of the anti-attack from Hylos passive and the blade armor he can guy. It's so predictable, right? 4 games in a row he picks Moscow, they're going to think of you as a one-trick. You got an anti-cam blade armor, you're going to be kind of useless. Especially with dominant size as well, because they have too much physical damage. They need another magic damage on the goal lane, right? They're lacking in it compared to Team France.
Yeah, I think at this point, it's just not looking so good. If you're Moldova, again, you're relying on comfort picks with Mimarmi on the Minotaur. Again, this Lucas he's a great pick, but then you don't have that extra bit of mobility, that extra bit of sustain to kind of keep him to fight longer. And then France kind of predicted this Moskov that's coming through and instantly countered with the final 2 picks. The Hylos just are running down with the Glorious Pathway, and then you have the Sylvana. Yeah, it's not looking good, but hey, we're still going into game number 2. As draft only speaks, we need to see the execution come out from France once more, as they are 1 point, and it's match point indeed for them in this best of 3.
I mean, let's see what's going to happen in this beautiful land of dawn. We're going to see that Imperial Justice with a vengeance, as that's directly a counter from Moscow. I think that's why they picked it. I don't think they're worried about the Lucas Chronos. I think that's the list of their worries right now.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't think the Lucas really makes much of a difference over here. Yes, you have the killing spree that helps out a lot more, given the fact that it's a slight bit of a change. But the Imperial Justice just looking to lock down Fatum if the Purify is already used up early.
If they use the Purify, Zedel is going to have a free field day, same as the Fury. Just lock him down, stun him down, and kill him instantly. We're going to see Magic Pen Boots as a first item for Nefiria. You know what you don't expect?
What?
Look at Zedel. He's so aggressive. He knows the clear speed of Lucas. He maybe played against him a lot in screen. He has the Ugi Shadow kill.
Yeah, and he gets that damage down as well on towards Mimarni. The stun comes through, that's first blood, but here's Trend below. Not level 4 once again, but I think Zedel in the wrong side of the map. Just gets taken up by looking at Espresso. He did what he did in the first series of the day. But knowing that Mlbb just protecting Victor as well as Nefiri the entire time, and that's the difference, right? Because Sylvana has a lot of damage in the early game.
And that was a really bad trade coming from Zedel. Giving a kill to the Moscow, it's not a good choice. Even if you have this team come beat him down, right? You have a Moscow beat down composition with the high-low Sylvana. But still, that's not enough. You engage a bit too early. You're trying to get the Lizard off from the farm of Lucas, but still, the Beast is going to find another way to feed himself.
Find a way, indeed. This Beast needs to be unleashed. And I think if they're using the Imperial just onto a Trenbolone, it's not going to be a much of a difference make. Oh, Feather Edge trying to steal him away, and Trenbolone taken out low. He has a full stack, indeed. He could make that play, but look at Zeus just going to the back line, zoning about, providing some vision of the turtle getting started. Espresso is on through Neferia, and he has taken down SOD disconnected, but Neferia has to fly out with the wings, wide wings, glorious pathway to slow them down as well. And now they get their turn on the turtle. France get that objective quite easily.
We've seen again Neferia with the zoning capability. She's got a creep of Lucas. She zoned out 4 people, if I'm not mistaken, from Team Moldova. But they're going to go for a Victor beatdown. Batum pushes him to safety though. I mean, that's a bit odd. Newbie, Imperial Justice getting served.
Oh, wait, you can see the damage coming out as well. Mimarmi taking out so low. Feather airstrike, man. There's Neferia. Somebody's got to stop her. You can't really give her all these comfort picks because she's dishing off the damage. She's milking the entire side of Moldova.
I think it was been a bit more wiser to ban out Neferia's peak with the first. I mean, we saw how dangerous it was.
Oh,
I don't
Nubi?
think they expected it.
Oh my god, that spiraling damage coming through, and the Ogi Shadow killed that, insult to injury. Picks up Fatum, he would have to use the Purify. And now on the top side, they're trying to make a trade, but they really cannot, because that's a tanky Hylos. He should be able to clear out the waves much faster and much easily.
And Hylos still has his Revitalize up. Neferia looking maybe for a pickup again. She has her Feather Airstrike. Still, look at Victor. He's so persistent with the damage.
Oh my god, Espresso, man, he can't really do much there, can he? Imperial Justice already being locked down onto a Treblone. And now with the Vengeance being used also, they're trying to survive. Minoan Fury, that's a lot being thrown just to take out Leonard Romer. You are unleashing the beast.
Unleashing the beast was the right call 30 seconds before turtle, but he might get it up. That's what she said. Even so, the Hylos wasn't present there in teamfight, if I'm not mistaken. He went back to base to get back his mana and his HP. But Espresso falls down. He expanded his sprint already, so he couldn't expand. Neferia though.
I didn't have enough mana right there, but the Crimson Beacon coming through at the right time. Big clutch play as Nubi went in for the Imperial Justice. And I think Nubi's being the big difference maker once again. 5 kills on the board, but 4 assists so far. And he's the one that's actually going and providing so much vision, creating the space that the rest of France need. And now with the Glorious Pathway drop down, Imperial Justice to run out. I feel France have done their job. Oh, so he connects. I don't think he's going to commit, though.
I don't think it's worth committing. Oh, he committed.
Oh.
He gave the wave to Harry for free.
I don't know, man. I don't know what he's doing right now. It's not looking good for Moldova. I think their decision-making when it comes to the gameplay is just not on point. Because of that, he missed out on a minion.
I mean, it's still an equal game so far. The jungles are equal level. The gold laners are on equal terms on gold, I assume. Still, this is... It's so volatile, right? The Farsa has a lot of kills. The Zedel also has a lot of kills. We know he has at least 600 gold just from kills compared to Tremblone's 200.
Oh, Minoan Fury gets a knock-up onwards too. With a pure flicker already being used. Oh, he shadow kill. Oh, still able to survive. Tremblone. Shockwave Blast comes through, but Espresso finally able to get the kill. Rather than gunning. Now Nubi's next to the chopper block. Zeus comes in with a Glorious Pathway. And they take away Espresso. 2-for-1 trade. And meanwhile, Zedo just hacking away at the tail.
Zedo's gonna take that top turret as well, I assume. No, he takes the spirit. Even so, I mean, that was a really well executed fight from Moldova. Only 4,000 gold difference between the teams so far. And this is, again, a brutal beatdown. They have too much map advantage from Zedel's team. They have an open map on the top lane. If they get that mid lane, I assume they're looking for a fight, because I see the people gathering around at the Hylos house, you know, rotating bot. So probably gonna go for a mid turret, trying to force out a fight on bot, trying to force him to defend, and Zedel is gonna try to sweep by and take that mid turret.
Yeah, I think they definitely have the macro advantage. A lot of mobility in their team. They have the Hayabusa. They can always go for the split push. Meanwhile, the rest of Moldova need to group up together to make anything happen. Now, Espresso looking to chase them down. SOD connects on towards Mlbb, as Mlbb will have to get out of harm's way. But there's the flicker play with the Manon Fury coming through as well. 2 knocked up, and now we can see the back from falling apart. Zeus, even after the revitalize gets pissed down, Needle on the back line, Timberwolf built to the Furia, but they turned their attention to Nubi, went into his already used, the Furia with a feather S strike, trying to buy some time, but Espresso running them down, taking out Nubi. And now what they find the advantage, but here, with the Zaman for a shot down, Nino is there in the mid lane, able to take away the tier 1. No, he does not. Espresso looking to chase him down, no Quad Shadow, but they still let him go away.
Again, Moldova basically closed down the gap between both of these teams. Minotaur had their really good engage with the Minotaur and Fury. I mean, Zeus got bursted down. The Furia.
Oh no, that Purify has already been used. Feather Airstrike doing so much damage. And you're right, Dakota, every time they look to pick a fight, Zeto's always split pushing on the other side, and he could have taken a mid lane that other time, but only you can see he gets a solo kill onto Mimarmi. No minions, no jungle crates, no flicker around the save of this time.
This time Zetel, I think, is opting for the BOD build with Sea Halberd, because there's not that many tank heroes, right? Lucas, you can burst him down easily with BOD, Sea Halberd combination. Still, I'd go for the Warwick just for the Hilda. I mean, I think that would be alone enough to melt down the Moscow. Man, this is brutal. Zedel is punishing as much as he can. He's going for as many opportunities as he can to split push. Nubi also playing extremely well on the Sylvana. SOD connecting.
Yeah, you can see Espresso has a quad shot on him as well. The spiral from Nubi. Now here's to come Glorious. Not to the knockup is there. At the same time, he used the Minoan Fury. The feather strike, beautiful position coming through as he unleashes the beast. But a lot of damage being taken as the Monforce drops down and Zero gets the OG Shadow Flip to pick himself a triple kill. Save down and out. Meanwhile, Fatum will have to split push on the bot side as the Pharaoh turns into a Lord. And now the rest of France hacking at it as they will get the mutual objective and even the tier 1 in the mid lane.
They knew as soon as Moscow uses SOD, they could start a fight. I mean, that was the biggest mistake, right? Using the SOD and not teleporting to it. They had a 4 versus 5 situation, right? Their Victor was there doing a lot of damage with Xenon's Force. Not much you can do as a Moscow with a Purify in a team fight, right? They can escape it. He bought it only for the Sylvana just to counter it. But even still, I don't think it's enough to make that huge of a game change, right? You get marked by Zedel, you're gonna die either way. He doesn't have a Wind of Nature. But that SOD being used so early, I think, ruined the team fight.
Yeah, I think at this point, the SOD does. They need it. It's connecting. There's not enough damage, right, Dakota? They don't have the items. They don't have the item power spike. 8k gold lead in the hands of France. Lord marching down the mid lane. They're getting the tier 2s on all 3 sides. Holy Shield is stands tall. But I think it's just a matter of time that France just take everything away.
In the mid tower still doesn't have his passive shield, so there Lord is gonna have a charge.
Yeah, Manon Fury comes through as well. Glorious not to being used. The Monforce drop down. Big tradition of the damage. They take away the mid lane inhibitor. And now they go for the Imperial Justice onto Espresso. He gets melted down and out as Nubi falls down as well. They trade one for one of the Oki. Shadow kill. They extended. Meanwhile, in the back line, Tremble goes through with them, unleashing the beast. But Zeto's able to pick up that kill. Zeus will fall down. And now they're looking to go for the rest as the Quad Shadow connects. But still, they're standing tall. But here comes the next set of minion waves. The top side inhibitor to fall. The bot side's next. The base car still left exposed. And seems like Moldova are looking like they're going to concede that to France as they go through one more time. Espresso's back up. And at what cost? The base car is going to be the target. Fatum is down and out. And seems like with the Oki Shadow kill, they're able to get the final one. As France are able to pick up the victory against Moldova in a 2-0 sweep.
Man. That was such an intense team fight. Extremely well played from both teams. I like the defensive Mion and Fury coming in from Mimi. Man, that was such an intense fight. I think you would agree with me on this, but I think both teams played extremely well. Props to both of these guys for handling it out so well. We got something so nice to pass. But the winner of today is going to be France. Moldova won the first match. The second match was won by France. But this is gonna be, I think, the end of today's stream, right, Kronos?
Hey man, most likely it will be after this one, but look at the highlights. We can't just dismiss that, Dakota, with the fact that they did overextended the early game, but after that, it was just complete domination, wiping the floor with Moldova in this game number 2. And you can see ZL leading the charge with that Hayabusa. Yes, he made the mistake in the early game, but after that, not a single time did he fall. And you can see that he is going through every single time he's there to fight. There's assassinations left, right, and center. And of course, Zeus leading the charge as well with that Sylvanas Imperial Justice, locking them down at the right time. And with ultimate heavy heroes on the side of Moldova, after they were used, they just couldn't do anything against France, could they?
I think the Moscow was the bad here. If they had the clinch or something to, challenge at first, I think they would have done a bit better. The Moscow, I seen it, I see the vision, but still, they had too many tank heroes for him to take down alone. The Sylvanas that could lock him down, the Hylos that could lock him down, just run him down completely. Hayabusa with a quad shadow mark as well. I mean, come on, complete slaughter, right?
Slaughter, man, this is a slaughterhouse. It's just a slaughterfest. You're right, too many answers for Team France. It's a complete slaughterfest here, and there was no possible way for Moldova to make a comeback. They didn't have much aggressive draft like we like to see, right, Dakota? And I think we mentioned this so many times throughout the day that the more aggressive your draft is, the more aggressive you can play, the lesser your chances of losing are, and more your chances of victory. But on the side of Moldova, they had no way to play aggressive at all.
I agree with you completely. They had nothing. They had that support mage, right? With the Lucas as well, but they didn't have something to initiate. They had the Minotaur, yes, but still, that was not enough. He's too squishy. I would have liked Khalid maybe to knock down Farsa's ultimate. That their Esther is still should still target, Raging Sandstorm, Flicker combination, it can go a long way. Even so, I didn't like the Moscow here one bit. The Minotaur, it can work, but still, they didn't have enough damage to answer towards Team France.
Man, they had no answer. You're right. There's absolutely no answer at all.
I mean, it's small mistakes in the draft. Yes, I completely agree. But still, you cannot have a team fight made to complete, for a Moscow, right? This is for Moscow. This is a draft made for Moscow, for the carry of Moscow. But still, it wasn't enough. We've seen Espresso get a few nice kills in the mid lane, as well as Tromblon getting a kill on top lane, I think, versus Hayabusa, 1v1 fight. But even so, they didn't have nothing to split push. They had the Moscow, yes, but the Moscow wasn't doing his job properly. The Hayabusa was always split pushing up to the lane, when they were fighting. Hayabusa was taking advantage of the situation and going for the free turret. Free waves on top lane, free jungle from the enemy side. But even so, the games ended, both of them, I think, in 10 minutes. So it was a 20-minute duration for both of them combined. I think the fastest games of the night.
It is indeed one of the fastest fews, not just the fastest games of the night. I think probably the fastest games of the entire Iesf so far, if I'm not wrong. 10 minutes, 23 seconds, or 28 seconds the first one, and now 10 minutes, 34 seconds. They just know how to snowball, right? A snowball-heavy comp coming from France is what gets them the victory every single time. And if any other team going against them know how to hold their own, some of the big powerhouses like Turkey, yeah, man, then we get to see what France can really do to take it to the next level, right? That's when we actually see what they have to offer. But apart from that, if they're going against teams like Moldova, who are not able to bounce back after getting a heavy loss in the start, not able to keep up in terms of farm, not able to keep up in terms of gold, not able to make the trades are going to be so important. If they're not going to be able to do that, then, hey, France is just going to run away with it.
I feel like just losing the first game felt crushing for Team Moldova. They crushed their mentality. As soon as you said what happened on the mid lane with the Joy fight, I think that's when the turning point happened. They tried to go back in the second game. They won a few good team fights, but still not enough to answer for Team France's, complete annihilation of the games. I mean, I think it's down to the draft. As I said, a draft is 70% of the game. The rest of the game is just what happens after. Now, you can never know. It's a volatile game. The rotations you can predict, but you cannot predict what the players will build, what the players will do, how they will rotate, etc. But in the draft, you can predict, and we predicted the Moscow being picked up and the Hylos as well. So I think if they banned the Hylos instead of the CC, would have been a bit better for Team Moldova.
I agree. I think that could have worked out in their favor a lot more. But again, at the same time, like, it was just a lot of prediction coming in from the side of France, right? They predicted that the Moscow's going to be locked in there. They predicted that they needed that support, and then just slowly band them out, cut the legs out, make sure Moldova are just shooting themselves on the foot, because that's what they did with the game number 1. They had a brilliant draft until the first half, and then just completely shot themselves in the foot with that Kufra being picked up and the Faramis as well to add on top of it. And now similarly in the second series, not like the first half of the draft was really great, but not providing the support that's needed later on to add to it. Like, yes, you have the Jushin, but along with that, you need something else to support this Lucas in the jungle. Because now, yes, Lucas was at the top, the TP top of the jungle tier list, but now it's slowly falling down because I think people, our teams and players have learned how to counter this Lucas, right? Without the help of the support, without actually able to sustain, they're not able to do anything.
I think a Lucas without a support is such a waste of a hero, because I remember playing him and yeah, you feel good, you know, you're strong, you go in, but how do you go out? How do you sustain yourself going out? It's impossible. He doesn't have that much life, he doesn't have that much healing capabilities. Even with the Warx, right, it's not enough. It's a little bit, yes, you're gonna sustain yourself a bit more, but still not enough compared to Hayabusa. You know, quad shadows, you go in, go out instantly, right? No rush, no faster. But even so, I don't think I like the Minotaur as well. Yes, it's a support type hero, but you go in, how do you go out? You cannot disengage yourself. Yes, he disengaged on a fight on the defending base, but still, it's not enough, you know, to scare your enemies. Kufra, yes, it's a menacing hero. Kalea, yes, menacing hero, but not in the same team combination. You know, like, hey, you pick Kalea, you pick a Kufra, there's no reason. Both of them are divers, both of them are engagers. You need something to sustain it.
Oh, well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, with the way that it was going about for France, they picked up a 2-0 victory, and for the rest of the night, that's the only matches that we have for you. And while you're at it, make sure you follow us on our socials as well. G_Kronos for me, and Zakota Mlbb for Zakota. So, hey, we got some good content for you. Of course, it's a great to give us a shout out as well. Of course, shout out to the French players and also Moldovan players, and at the same time Austria, who put up a brilliant show as well early on today, and not able to play the recent game, or rather not being streamed. And also the Moldova's opponents early on, Slovakia, who put on a brilliant display indeed, and the rest of the squads that are taking part in the Iesf, because you're watching the World Iesf Europe Qualifiers. My name is Kronos, alongside me Zakota. We'll call it a night. Thank you. Have a great day.